From Batman the Ride to Mr. Freeze to Looney Tunes Land is going to have to come down.
I would be completely psyched to come up with new names and new theming. It could be a fun thing.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Sean Malone. How does the St. Louis Police Officers Association feel about the idea that salaries could be higher if the benefits package wasn't so costly? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. After a foggy start, some sunshine today, becoming breezy and much warmer, the high 81.
Arch Madness continues at Enterprise Center. I'm Brian Feldman. Who's playing and when? Plus a report from Jupiter, Florida. Sports in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Intense airstrikes pound Iran and Lebanon. Sirens ring out in Tel Aviv. The U.S. and Iran claim they've achieved near complete air superiority on day 7 of the Iran war. The BBC's Yolande Nell reports from Jerusalem.
We're receiving these reports from Tehran of very heavy bombing overnight. Some residents telling the BBC it was the heaviest bombing they've experienced since Saturday in the Iranian capital. Several different locations affected and also other Iranian cities. This after Israel and the US both said that they were intensifying their bombing campaign in Iran.
The Interior Ministry in Bahrain says Iranian strikes targeted 2 hotels and a residential building there today. At least 20,000 Americans breathing a big sigh of relief. They arrived home on flights from the Middle East overnight. Heather Doherty's plane touched down in San Francisco after she was stranded at the airport in Dubai for 5 days.
You hear alerts going off, you hear explosions in the sky, and it's hard to know what's going on, but it's really unsettling.
Here in the U.S., President Trump dismissed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, replaced her with Oklahoma's Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Correspondent Jared Hill.
It's the first major staffing shakeup of Trump's second term. An administration source tells CBS News replacing Noem was, quote, based on the culmination of her many unfortunate leadership failures. Among them, the fallout over how she falsely described the actions of 2 Americans killed by immigration officers in Minneapolis earlier this year.
Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez has dropped his re-election bid after admitting he had an affair with a former staffer who died by suicide.
A day after he admitted having an affair with a former staffer who later died by suicide, Gonzalez announced on X he will withdraw from the upcoming Republican primary runoff with gun activist Brandon Herrera, but will serve out the remainder of his 3rd term. House GOP leaders had called on Gonzalez to drop out. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
We always allow for due process to play out here, but leadership put out a statement. It speaks for itself.
Wednesday, Gonzalez told a conservative talk show host his affair was a mistake and a lapse in judgment. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Twisters tore through the Plain States overnight from the Texas Panhandle to southern Kansas. A mother and daughter were killed in their van north of Oklahoma City in Clio Springs. Major County Sheriff Anthony Robinson.
I know that they had been on cellular phone with one of their family members and had lost connection. We believe that the vehicle was hit directly with a tornado.
People from the Southern Plains to the Great Lakes face the risk of severe storms today. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
At 6:03, we have cloudy skies, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, March 6th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A possible road rage shooting has police searching for a suspect. Missouri State Highway Patrol responding to a shooting yesterday around 1:30 on westbound 70 east of 170. Highway Patrol spokesperson Sergeant Dallas Thompson says officials aren't sure what prompted the shooting or if the men involved knew each other before.
When troopers arrived on scene, they found a vehicle unoccupied. The windows had been knocked out of it or shot out of it. They searched the area, was unable to locate anybody. A witness stopped and said that a male had gotten out of the vehicle and was picked up by another motorist, and they left.
Thompson says the man was treated for a gunshot wound in his right arm at a local hospital. Missouri State Highway Patrol is actively investigating the incident.
Lake St. Louis police still looking for a suspect in a shooting on Tuesday. The St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office issued an arrest warrant for 40-year-old Ron Ferry Rojas Solano. Rojas Solano has been charged with first-degree murder, a $2,000 cash reward being offered for information leading to his arrest. Upon arrest, he'll be held on $1 million cash-only bond.
New footage providing a firsthand look into a deadly shooting that involved 2 Missouri State troopers. The video shows a September 2024 pursuit in St. Louis County, an incident the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney reviewed and declined to prosecute.
The recording captures the radio traffic as troopers moved in to secure the scene after the suspect was struck in the exchange of gunfire.
Held fire! He dropped it! 6 said he will not believe he's been shot and he dropped the gun. I don't know if anyone else is in the car.
While the suspect was shot and killed, neither of the state troopers involved were injured. The newly released public files include a February 2025 letter from county prosecutors officially closing the use of force investigation.
St. Louis Chief of Police Robert Tracy says the department's strong benefits package does not help recruit new officers, while the mayor and the board float cuts for raises. How does the police union feel?
Joe Steiger, business manager of the St. Louis City Police Officers Association, tells KMOX he agrees with Chief Tracy, saying salary is often the most important thing when recruiting new officers. However, he says retaining officers is equally important, which is where the benefits package is of value.
As police officers get older and they start having families or having children or buying houses, then they start thinking about retirement age and thinking about these other benefits.
Steiger says their salaries still sit around $10,000 a year behind the county, but the city doesn't need to overcome them to compete.
You can show folks, hey, you can come here. It's a larger department. There's more ability for you to move. There's different places you can go within the department.
He says the new board seeking out officer input through their first year is already improving morale and should help with recruiting. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
New details now on the sale of Six Flags at St. Louis.
Is St. Louis the flagship park of this group?
You could say that.
KMOX's Michael Calhoun has the latest.
Six Flags St. Louis is just one of 7 amusement parks being sold to Kansas City-based EPR Properties. That's a real estate investment trust. They already own St. Louis's City Museum. But because they're a trust, they don't operate what they own. So in this case, EPR is going to lease the parks to Enchanted Parks of Orlando. The new likely name after the 2026 season is Enchanted Parks St. Louis. That's not the only rebrand that'll have to happen. Every piece of DC Comics and Looney Tunes IP will need to be stripped out. That means new names and decorations for the likes of Batman and Mr. Freeze.
If I was a marketer, I would be completely psyched to, come up with new names and new theming. So it could be a fun thing.
Dr. Martin Lewison is a professor at New York's Farmingdale State College. He's been dubbed Professor Roller Coaster.
Probably Six Flags saw these parks as relative underperformers in terms of that investment dollar, which is why these parks have been neglected.
Six Flags will continue to operate 34 other parks across North America. The company's decision to sell St. Louis boiled down to the fact that it and the 6 other parks just weren't contributing a great deal of growth to the company. Those 7 parks combined make up less than 10% of the entire Six Flags company's attendance, 4 million out of almost 50 million visitors. But in this new chain...
Yeah, you could call Six Flags St. Louis certainly one of the bigger properties.
Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, the St. Louis County prosecutor is giving businesses until June 1st to get illegal gambling machines out. Melissa Price Smith says that date gives plenty of time for voluntary compliance, but after that June 1st date, her office will move forward with criminal charges against those who continue to violate state gambling statutes.
St. Charles County prosecuting attorney Joseph McCullough already announced that his office would begin enforcement April 1st. A federal judge ruled several weeks ago the unregulated slot machines that popped up across Missouri violate state law.
It is 6:08. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we've got the latest for you on traffic and weather. We've got a dense fog advisory in effect until 9 this morning.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes has become synonymous with quality, luxury, and customization, offering thoughtfully designed homes in the area's most desirable communities. And for the month of March, we're giving you even more room to live. For a limited time, receive a free finished recreation room in the lower level, perfect for entertaining, movie nights, a home gym, or whatever fits your lifestyle. This special incentive is available in select communities and only during the month of March. Visit LombardoHomes.com to explore and be sure to ask your sales manager for details.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Larry Older here. You know, one of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. All one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get a check of the roads now. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger, how's it look?
Well, it's great so far, Megan. I mean, they cleared the only incident we had so far this morning since we started taking a look at things, and that was eastbound 70 Eastern Natural Bridge. They had the right lane closed. They cleared that, right lane open. The jam we had at the airport is thinned out, no longer any delays. And it looks great coming in from out west. So Warrenton on in on eastbound 70, you're trouble-free. In fact, all the interstates are right now in any of the construction zones. I'm not seeing any delays. We had dense fog. I'm thinking that's probably not gone away yet. The most dense reporting point was Scott Air Force Base. So I would say watch restricted visibilities rather on 64 in that area. In fact, Scott Air Force Base was reporting visibility of only 1/10 of a mile. So that's pretty dense fog. So just be alert in that area, but it could be patchy in anywhere area so far around the metro. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Builder's St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Come to our amazing outdoor living space.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
A dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 this morning. Dense fog to start the day and becoming breezy and much warmer later today with some sunshine, the high 81. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and very mild tonight, though just 63. Late tonight and first thing tomorrow, a couple of drenching thunderstorms will cross the area that can produce hail, downpours, and damaging wind gusts. And later tomorrow, breezy and turning cooler with plenty of cloud, temperatures falling into the 50s. Sunshine returns for Sunday, the high 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's partly cloudy and 58 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12. Former Mayor Tashara Jones being sued over unpaid bills from her reelection campaign. Moxie Media, a mail company out of the state of Washington, entered into a contract with the Jones campaign for $98,000 to produce customized mail programs for the campaign as part of a direct mail strategy.
In their lawsuit, they allege they have been seeking payment since late March of last year and have not received it. They add, apart from their contract, includes a 9% interest rate they're seeking as well. The Jones campaign's termination filing from May of last year shows they have no cash on hand.
After a census report showed the St. Louis region lagging behind the nation on building new housing, the city is taking steps toward making it easier.
The city's announcing they are moving the building permit application process online, no longer requiring contractors to wait in person at City Hall and speeding up the times those permits will be issued. What more is being done? Mayor Kara Spencer points to new zoning rules coming later this year and working with locals on how to rebuild around the tornado disaster area. She also teases utilizing the RAMS money.
Building out a plan for investing the RAMS dollars in a way that can not only support the area impacted by the tornado, but really shore up downtown and infrastructure citywide.
The census will release the latest population estimates towards the end of the month. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
FEMA will not reimburse the city of St. Louis for the bulk of tornado demolition costs. Our partners at Fox 2 report the Federal Emergency Management Agency formally rejected the city's request to pay for the demolition of a majority of tornado-damaged properties. Almost 10 months after that EF3 tore through parts of North St. Louis, the city has identified 1,000 buildings that are considered dangerous or unsalvageable. Current estimates show FEMA will only cover about 20% of the demolition costs.
Some positive signs as well as some weakness when it comes to the economy. Charles Gaskin is senior economist at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis.
Overall prices continue to increase at a moderate rate. Contacts are reporting that they're observing higher costs and that they do need to pass some of those on to customers. A lot of these higher costs are coming in the form of utilities, is one that we hear a lot about, as well as insurance.
Gaskin says businesses are trying to figure out if they will lose customers if they raise prices, but he says there has been some easing since the last Beige Book report.
Economists generally believe the February jobs report set for release this morning will show modest enough job growth that can hold unemployment steady. We'll get more on that for you as that job report is released. It is 6:15.
Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman filling in for Tom Ackerman. Big day of Arch Madness right here in St. Louis. The Missouri Valley Conference Tournament continues at Enterprise Center with quarterfinal action all day long. Games start at noon with Drake taking on the number 1 seed Belmont. That's followed by Illinois, Chicago, and Murray State at around 2:30. Valparaiso and Bradley take the court at 6, followed by Northern Iowa and Illinois State. That starts at around 8:30. Yesterday, tough loss for Southern Illinois in the first round against Drake. The Salukis fell 67-63, finishing their season at an even 16-16. SIU just could not connect from 3, shooting just 4 for 25 all game long. Other college hoops action. SLU finishes the regular season tomorrow with George Mason. The Billikens already own the number 1 seed in the upcoming A-10 conference tournament. Mizzou in action as well tomorrow, hosting 20th ranked Arkansas. The Tigers 20-10 on the year. On the ice, the trade deadline arrives at 2 p.m. today, and the Blues could look awfully different when that time comes. For a team in last place in the Central Division, they have quite a bit they can offer other teams before Doug Armstrong formally hands over the GM reins to Alexander Steen. It appears no one's untouchable on the Blues, so stay tuned to KMOX for the latest on any trades they make throughout the day. On to baseball in Jupiter.
The Cardinals get a couple notable and encouraging pitching performances in their 3-2 win against the Pirates in Bradenton. Dustin May makes his first start at Grapefruit League play and is impressive, allowing just 1 hit in 3 innings. He routinely hits 98-99 with his fastball, which is a velocity that we have not seen from May consistently since 2023. After May is done, Quinn Matthews comes in, and while he gives up a couple runs over 2 2/3 innings, he shows big-time swing and miss stuff. 7 of his 8 outs are via the strikeout. He induces 12 swings and misses on his 50 pitches and gets whiffs on his changeup, slider, and four-seam fastball. Matthews' velo tops out at just a tick under 97 miles per hour. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Cardinals face the Orioles today in Sarasota. First pitch 12:05 on KMOX. Michael McGreevy on the mound for the Redbirds. He's making his 3rd start of spring as he looks to stake a claim to a spot in the starting rotation. And on the pitch.
After a challenging road trip to the West Coast, St. Louis City SC is back home preparing to face the Seattle Sounders at Energizer Park on Saturday night. Head coach Yohan DeMay says Seattle has some similarities to what City saw against San Diego, especially in the way they press and defend high up the field. DeMay says the key for this group will be recognizing the right moments to attack once they break that pressure.
It's hard to break the press, but when you break, it feels like there's tons of spaces, and that's when players get excited or get carried away into attacking too quick. When we break that press and we can force them to defend a little bit backward and more in their half, the spaces are going to open up a little bit more for us. So hopefully we can play through it and then to get set up a little bit higher up, which will give us more time to organize and find the right spaces to attack.
And soon, City could have another attacking option available. New signing Sergio Cordova has joined the team in training and is fully fit after arriving from Europe, but the coaching staff is taking time to integrate him into the squad. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, A new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Cardinals single game tickets are now on sale for the 2026 season. The schedule delivers big time matchups, including weekend series against the Cubs and Dodgers and visits from the Boston Red Sox. Add in a promotions calendar stacked with fan favorites like all new giveaways, a Hawaiian short and shirt set, golf inspired hat, dark mode jersey, and a whole lot more. It's Busch Stadium at its best all season long. Lock in your seats today at Cardinals.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20, time for another check of your ride into work today. Roger Brand has everything from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, so far so good on the area interstates, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. I mean, there's a few more cars on the highways, but there's barely a slowdown northbound 55 through Weber, so it really doesn't look bad there. Coming in from out west, eastbound 70 Warrenton on in through Wentzville, all the way across the Blanchette, 64 coming off 61, coming out of Wentzville. Everything looks great for you there. We do have an overturned vehicle crash reported on Old Lee Ferry north of Seckman. They sent emergency crews to that location, so watch for restrictions there. On the Illinois side, still look okay, 64, although we had dense fog reported around Scott. I'm not seeing any delays on 64 in the Fairview Heights area, and they look great. That and the Musial Veterans Bridge, no delays coming into downtown. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
All right, weather-wise, we do have a dense fog advisory until 9 this morning. Looking out the windows of Studio B, it just seems clear. On my way in, I went through 2 or 3 very dense pockets of fog and then completely clear. So that could be your ride in too. Just take it easy. Otherwise, it's going to just be a beautiful day today. It's going to feel like summer with a nice breeze and some clouds and sun, a high of 81 degrees, 63 overnight. And then things change tomorrow because we'll have a couple of drenching thunderstorms late tonight into early morning, some that could produce flooding downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. And then it's going to make it much cooler tomorrow with clouds and temperatures falling into the 50s. That's where we are right now. It's partly cloudy, 58 degrees.
The news continues at 6:22. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker pressing Secretary of State Marco Rubio to do more to help Americans stranded in the Middle East. Here's WBBM's Mike Krauser.
The president said yesterday it all happened very quickly when asked why there were no plans to help American citizens. A statement from the State Department, accused by some lawmakers of incompetence, said it is facilitating charter flights from some countries and military aircraft and was asking airlines to send larger planes. Governor J.B. Pritzker said in a letter to Rubio, there have been numerous requests from U.S. citizens, Illinois residents, seeking support to return to the U.S. He wrote Illinois citizens have expressed considerable fear for their safety, as well as serious financial and logistical challenges, and that includes people in multiple countries in the region.
There are ripple effects in Washington and beyond after President Trump fired Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem yesterday. WBBM reporting Democrats select Governor Pritzker in Illinois say the clashes with the administration's ICE posture in Chicago and elsewhere are still fresh in his mind. In a post on social media, he tried to frame Noem's departure and suggested she is by no means off the hook.
Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
The U.S. Supreme Court may have thrown out President Trump's original tariff policy. Now, Illinois and 23 other states say his new tariff plan is illegal, too. Here's WBBM political editor Jeff Buckholz.
In order for the president to levy tariffs on imports without getting Congress involved, he needs to cite a specific law. The High Court last month said the president's use of a specific law was unconstitutional. Now, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and counterparts from other Democratic-run states are suing in a body called the Court of International Trade, saying his new justification is also illegal. A judge in that court just ruled that companies which paid tariffs under the original plan are entitled to refunds. But Governor J.B. Pritzker told reporters in Springfield that higher prices caused by those tariffs cost Illinois families, on average, $1,700. They should get refunds too, he said.
When is Donald Trump going to do the right thing and make sure that people get those checks?
The governor said the best path to refunds for consumers may be through Capitol Hill.
We ought to be able to get a law passed in Congress. I'm hoping that'll happen soon.
The White House says it will vigorously defend the president's new policy. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 1059, WBBM.
A new Missouri bill would treat cyber crimes in the same way as domestic and sexual assault.
It can include things like doxing addresses. It could be swatting homes. It can be camera surveillance, email harassment, keystroke monitoring. There's spyware and stalkerware that's out there. There's hacking that's involved. There's just so many layers to this.
Senator Tracy McCreary filed the legislation and tells the Chris and Amy Show her goal is to create stronger rights for digital abuse victims.
U.S. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri launching an investigation into Google over child sexual abuse materials. The move comes after yesterday's Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism. It focused on the role big tech companies play in removal of online child sex abuse material. Hawley chairs the subcommittee. He says yesterday's hearing revealed that 2023 saw a spike in online abuse material with more than 100 million images and videos of suspected abuse identity that year. Hawley says the hearing established that Google has failed to take robust action to assist survivors.
The Missouri Senate greenlights a bill to raise the speed limit. It would raise the state speed limit in rural areas from 70 to 75 miles an hour, a measure the Senate approved earlier this week. A spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Transportation says if the speed limit does get raised, there will be an increase in fatalities and serious injuries.
MoDOT says drivers will need an additional 90 feet to stop when braking at 75 miles an hour compared to 70. The bill's sponsor, Senator Jamie Berger, says the bill comes after some border states raised their speed limits and that vehicle safety features have come a long way. The bill now sits in the House.
There's a new statewide dashboard that's been launched, and officials say it'll provide up-to-date public safety statistics during winter storms. The Illinois Department of Transportation launching an online dashboard aimed to give Illinoisans quick updated information on road conditions during snow and ice seasons. It features things like a frequently updated road conditions map, statistics on the amount of salt and other materials purchased by the state, updated tallies on the number of snow plows that may be stuck, in a range of other information.
It's now 6:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
March is a season of fresh starts, more daylight, new energy, a perfect time to take a fresh look at your home. If your windows or doors are outdated, inefficient, or simply not performing the way they should, upgrading doesn't have to feel overwhelming. With Renewal by Andersen, from your first design consultation through final installation, every detail is handled by one experienced, dedicated team. And because our windows are built with our exclusive Fibrex material, stronger than vinyl and designed to perform in extreme temperatures, you get durability that matches the service behind it. No coordinating multiple companies, no confusion, just a thoughtfully managed process from start to finish. Right now, during our March savings event, take $400 off every window and $800 off every door. Plus, receive a free upgrade to Smart Sunglass with no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. You can move forward now and invest with confidence. But this offer ends March 31st. Call us at 877-WINDOWS or visit www.rbastl.com today. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes.
Since 1898, we've been building homes in St. Louis with the same commitment to quality craftsmanship, prime locations, and personalized service. And now we're celebrating 128 years with our 1898 sale. For a limited time, save $18,980 plus receive $10,000 to $15,000 in cash at closing on all to-be-built homes. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to learn more. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey Homes?
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:30. We've got partly cloudy skies, a dense fog advisory in effect, and 58 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. And let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, EMS are on the scene dealing with that crash, Megan, on Old Lee May Ferry 5100 block. That puts it, I believe, north of Seckman. There's restrictions. Sounds like only one lane is open right now, so you may want to avoid the area if you can for the next 15, 20 minutes while they try to right that vehicle and clear up the roadway. If you're on northbound Highway 55, more volume, but it's really just a slowdown from Bayless up to River to Pear so far. North 270 from 55 looks good. Up through Doherty Ferry, it is a little slower in the right lanes approaching Manchester, but that's the only delay on that run. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down to 64, seeing a little bit of a slowdown for you there. But once you hit 64 or 70, they both look great coming out of Wentzville. And on the Illinois side, we had dense fog reported around Scott Air Force Base, but 64 through there looks fine, and it continues to roll downtown across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As I mentioned, we have a dense fog advisory in effect until 9 this morning. It's pretty spotty, though, but when you hit it, it is pretty thick. It's once that burns off, it's going to be sun and clouds today, a breezy day with a high of 81 degrees, 63 overnight. But that all changes when a couple of drenching thunderstorms move through late tonight into first thing tomorrow morning. And that's going to turn things much cooler. So the temperatures will be falling into the 50s. Then rebounding Sunday with sunshine and a high of 70. Right now, it's partly cloudy, 58 degrees downtown.
It's 6:31. A possible road rage shooting has police searching for a suspect. Our partners at Fox 2 report that the Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to a shooting on Interstate 10 near 170 around 1:30 yesterday. Highway Patrol spokesman Sergeant Dallas Thompson says officials are unsure what prompted the shooting or if the men involved knew each other.
When troopers arrived on scene, they found a vehicle unoccupied. The windows had been knocked out of it or shot out of it. They searched the area, was unable to locate anybody. A witness stopped and said that a male had gotten out of the vehicle and was picked up by another motorist, and they left.
Thompson said officers have now learned the man was treated for a gunshot wound to his right arm at a local hospital. The Highway Patrol is still investigating the incident.
The St. Louis City Police Chief says while their benefits package helps retain officers, starting salary is often the only thing that matters to new recruits. How does the police union feel?
I think what the chief said is absolutely right. I think when you're starting out brand new, that salaries are extremely important.
Business manager for the St. Louis Police Officers Association, Joe Steiger, says salaries do need to get closer to the counties in order to compete. The mayor suggested police salaries could be higher if the benefits package wasn't so costly. The president of the state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners didn't say no to the idea of cutting benefits to raise salaries. Steiger says filling out the officer ranks cannot be viewed as a one-way problem.
This is a two-tier problem. I mean, we have a retention problem as well as a recruitment problem.
Steiger says a survey they conducted years ago shows officers who make it between 7 to 10 years tend to stay with the department until their benefits vest after 20 years. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Six Flags selling its St. Louis Park along with 6 other regional properties. The company confirmed that EPR Properties will take ownership. The Orlando-based company called Enchanted Parks will operate the 6 U.S. locations. All season passes and memberships will be honored through the end of the 2026 season. The parks will license and keep the Six Flags name until the end of this season.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got the latest from Bloomberg coming up next. It's 6:33.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-3062. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-3062. That's 800-566-3062. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
6:35, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Throughout its 119-year history, UPS has always been the country's most valuable package carrier, with its fleet of brown delivery trucks a fixture for businesses and households alike. That may be changing. FedEx is close to topping UPS in market value for the first time ever. UPS's lead has shrunk to less than $1 billion. Shares in both companies have been dropping since the Iran conflict started, but UPS has been hit harder. Checking on your money, traders are waiting on this morning's February jobs report for a closer look at the health of the labor market. Ahead of that, stock futures are lower, with oil prices heading for its strongest week since 2022. And mortgage rates have moved a touch higher. According to Freddie Mac, the average for a 30-year fixed-rate loan has climbed to 6%. Keep in mind, rates are still down significantly from a year ago, sparking optimism all across the real estate industry, hoping for a better spring selling season ahead. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing. Oh, hey. More like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects. Ooh, how does it work? It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
More news now at 6:38. Worse than a prison. 911 calls, interviews reveal problems at ICE's largest detention camp. Serious medical and mental health emergencies have been routine at the nation's largest U.S. immigration and customs enforcement detention facility since its opening in August. Data from more than 100 911 calls at Camp East Montana in El Paso, Texas, along with interviews and court filings, offer a portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress.
Texas Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez has ended his re-election bid after admitting he had an affair with an aide who later died by suicide. Gonzalez had faced recent calls from GOP leadership to end his re-election bid and from others in Congress to resign. The move is the latest in a quickly changing situation that stunned Capitol Hill and resulted in a House Ethics Committee investigation.
3 former presidents set to attend Jesse Jackson's celebration of life today, along with Grammy-winning artists, clergy, and elected officials. Former Democratic U.S. presidents Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Bill Clinton are expected to attend Chicago's celebration of life for the late Reverend.
The CEO of a major AI company spends up to 40% of his time on company culture because it's the only thing that will win the AI race. I'm Jeff Colvin of Fortune magazine with the Fortune Business Update. The CEO is Dario Amodei and the company is Anthropic. As the company has expanded, it has become nearly impossible for him to weigh in on every technical and product decision, he says. So rather than dig into the fine details, he has tried to focus on the bigger picture, making sure his employees like working for the company, that the company's mission and values are clear, and that all workers are working toward the same missions instead of against one another, as he says happens at other unnamed AI companies. Amodei is doing something right. Anthropic is barely 5 years old, yet it has 2,500 employees and it's valued at $380 billion. I'm Jeff Colvin.
It is 6:40. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful morning, at least in downtown St. Louis, although where you are, there may or may not be some very thick fog. Just keep that in mind. We'll get the forecast for you in just a moment. Let's see how things are looking from the perspective of Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a bit of a jam right now, Debbie, on eastbound 370 roadwork going on at the Discovery Bridge. I think I mentioned last week that this was the week they were going to start the long-term rehab project on the Discovery Bridge. They're going to be shifting all the traffic over onto the eastbound bridge initially, and then they'll go to the westbound bridge as they shift, just like they did at the Boone Bridge a year ago or so. So right now, only the one lane is open eastbound 370 on the Discovery Bridge, and that's jamming traffic back west of 94, so just be prepared. And again, this is the week they're starting this long-term project. It'll run through July of 2027 by the time they get everything completely wrapped up. So here we go with that. The roadwork season is upon us. Other than that, it's not bad. Just brief delays. Northbound 55, north of Bayless to River to Pear. Northbound 270, Big Bend through Doherty. Ferry's a little slow. And eastbound 64, a little volume between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Illinois side interstates still a great headed for the downtown bridges. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we could have some more stormy weather on the way. Let's get the latest from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
And Megan, we get into this time of the year, into the spring season, and then all of a sudden we have to start worrying about cold fronts that can produce severe weather. And one such concern would be late tonight, first thing tomorrow, as the front comes through. And then the opportunity returns later Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Today, times of sun and clouds. Most of the fog is burned off. It'll become breezy at much warmer, 81 this afternoon. The record is 85 from 1956. That kind of warmth ahead of a cold front is going to spell some trouble, I think, late tonight. Breezy and mild ahead of the front. The overnight of 63. Then late at night, first thing tomorrow, a couple of thunderstorms will come through the area. They can produce flooding downpours, hail, and damaging winds. So, yes, severe weather is a possibility. Later tomorrow, though, breezy and turning much cooler with leftover clouds. Temperatures actually drop into the 50s. Then it clears out tomorrow night. We're back to sunny skies on Sunday. Should be a beautiful day. The high 70. Sunny skies on Monday. Breezy and warmer up to 82. We'll be in the upper 70s Tuesday, but clouds increase it again. A threat for some severe weather later in the day and at night. Across the area right now, most of the fog has dissipated, and we are seeing partly sunny skies at this hour. Can't say that next week with the time change coming up this weekend. 59 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, and 60 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Arch Madness continues today with quarterfinal action all day long, plus a report from Jupiter, Florida. I'm Brian Feldman. Sports in 2 minutes.
It's now 6:43. The college class of 2026 graduating into a tight labor market. A hiring expert has some tips on how parents can help their future graduate.
Rick Cobb of the workplace consulting firm To Discern in Chicago tells the Noon Business Hour you can help your college graduate with their job search.
Writing a good resume, practicing interview questions.
But he says your approach needs to be a little different compared to other milestones in life. That's because this time you're both adults, and the job search discussion should be a conversation instead of a lecture.
You're much better asking questions of your adult children than you are telling them things. Once you go into lecture mode, they tend to shut down.
Other ways that you can help include organizing a job search tracking system, encouraging application habits and follow-ups, and sharing contacts from your personal network. Rob Hart, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
For younger kids, a registered dietitian gives KMOX some advice on snacking.
You're the one providing the food for them, and they're the ones deciding how much and what they're eating. So definitely let kids eat intuitively and stop when they're full, and give them another opportunity to eat later or come back to their food later.
Michelle Wilson is a certified nutrition counselor with Brands Nutrition Counseling. She says bargaining with kids in order to get them to eat a certain food is fine, as long as it doesn't involve consequences if they choose not to eat it.
So if you had several fruits and several veggies in front of them and they could choose whatever they wanted, then that could be totally fine. But if it's like you have to eat one of everything and there's like 10 things on there, then that could be overwhelming.
Wilson also gives advice to parents who try to hide nutritious foods inside of other foods, which she says might work if it's done right.
They know it's in there, and they're going to have a better time if they know that it's in there. So letting them know, like, I'm going to make it different this time, so it's going to taste different, and that's okay. And I just want you to, like, let me know what you think.
She says letting your child have snacks throughout the day isn't necessarily bad, and if it's affecting their appetite at mealtimes, the issue might be actually something else.
It's definitely great for them to eat regularly through the day, but it might be like breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack, but not constantly grazing all of the time if we're having issues with being hungry for meals.
Wilson advises that the issue isn't always as simple as a child being picky, especially if there are weight concerns involved.
If kids aren't growing tall enough or they're not gaining weight throughout their childhood, we definitely want to make sure that they're getting adequate nutrition. So definitely reach out to help with a professional so you can get individual advice for your kid.
For Total Information AM, Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman, filling in for Tom Ackerman. Arch Madness rolls on at Enterprise Center today. Quarterfinal action of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. It starts at noon and goes until late tonight. We get things going with the 1 seed, Belmont facing Drake at 12. That's immediately followed by the 4-5 game, Illinois, Chicago, and Murray State at around 2:30. The next game starts at 6 with second-seeded Bradley taking on Valparaiso, followed by Northern Iowa, and 3-seed Illinois State at approximately 8:30. Yesterday, tough loss for Southern Illinois in the first round against Drake. The Salukis fell 67-63, finishing their season at an even 16-16. SIU just could not connect from deep, shooting just 4 for 25 from three-point range, including 1 of 13 in the second half. Other college hoops action, SLU finishes the regular season tomorrow at George Mason. The Billikens already own the number 1 seed in the upcoming A-10 conference tournament. Mizzou in action tomorrow as well, hosting 20th ranked Arkansas. The Tigers 20-10 on the year, 10-7 in the SEC. On the ice, what will Doug Armstrong do in his final trade deadline before passing over the GM reins to Alexander Steen? It's a big question, and one that'll be answered by 2 o'clock today. There could be sizable movement. There could be little, but for a team in last place in the Central Division, no one appears to be untouchable on the Blues. In baseball, more positive trends emerging out of Cardinals spring training. KMOX's Matt Pauley reports from Jupiter.
The Cardinals collect a 3-2 win against the Pirates in Bradenton yesterday, scoring just enough to win. While spring stats do need to be taken with the proverbial grain of salt, it is notable what top prospect J.J. Weatherholt is doing. He goes 1 for 2 with a walk. Weatherholt has now drawn at least 1 walk in all but 1 of his 7 appearances this spring. His spring on base percentage is .579. With his hit, he's now hitting .333 and carries an 1162 OPS. The Cardinals get their first run of the day thanks to Nolan Gorman. Against Mitch Keller, he hits a slider 411 feet for his second home run of spring. While Gorman only has 3 hits so far in Grapefruit League play, showing his power is encouraging and could be a big part of a Cardinals offense that has some question marks in it. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Another good sign from yesterday, Dustin May throws 3 shutout innings, followed by Quinn Matthews striking out 7 in just 2 2/3. The Cardinals in Sarasota today facing the Orioles at 12:05. Michael McGreevy makes his 3rd start of spring training. And on the pitch,
2 games into the season, St. Louis City SC is still searching for its first win, but captain and goalkeeper Roman Berkey says the foundation he's seeing from this group is encouraging. From his perspective on the pitch, the work rate and the mentality have already shown up in the numbers.
We saw the statistics from the first 2 games, and that's definitely the right mindset that we have. We put in a lot of work. The coach told us it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So we are working hard to get better, to figure out small details, to get better quality-wise. And then I'm 100% sure that we are going to win games.
Berkey says the early part of the season is about learning from each match and continuing to build consistency, something he believes will eventually turn into results. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
St. Louis City SC faces Seattle Saturday night. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there'll be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50 and time for us here on Total Information AM to bring you the latest on the roadways and the weather. It looks like we've got sunshine now in downtown St. Louis, so maybe grab the sunglasses if you're just heading out the door. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, hopefully the sun's probably in your eyes on these eastbounds because I'm not seeing any fog where I'm looking, which is right now at 370 Discovery Bridge. I see some fog in the River Valley there, but nothing approaching it anyway. It looks good on the bridge. It's down to 1 lane eastbound 370. Again, this is the week they begin the lane shift, moving the westbound and eastbound traffic over to the eastbound superstructure. They're going to rehab that westbound and then flip it and do it on the opposite side. So you're going to have restrictions in place depending on which direction you're traveling on and off through July of next year. So the work is already beginning. It's down to 1 lane, and eastbound 370 is jammed about midway back to Elm Newtown. Eastbound Highway 70, that's a little busy at Highway A and approaching Bryan Road. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry to Manchester is kind of slow. 55, barely a slowdown at River to Pear. Still looks great on the Illinois side. No delays across any of the bridges or interstates leading to them. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we've got some sunshine coming through now. That's the way it's going to be for most of the day. We may see some clouds, though, as the day goes on. Expect a high of 81 degrees, cloudy and balmy with an overnight low of 63. But late tonight, we could get into some drenching thunderstorms with flooding downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and those will continue into early tomorrow morning, then cooler as we get into the day. Later tomorrow, temperatures falling into the 50s. Right now, we have sunny skies, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. Arch Madness began yesterday. The president of the St. Louis Sports Commission, Mark Schreiber, says the economic impact of that is about $5 million.
I think if you were to go around downtown and ask any of the hotels in the community here, restaurants, whatever, it's a great weekend and it's a much needed weekend for the area. So no matter what that number is, it's significant and very meaningful for downtown St. Louis.
The Missouri Valley Conference runs through Sunday.
One of the highest rated events in American chess currently underway in the Central West End. The 2026 American Cup at the St. Louis Chess Club features $400,000 in total prize money It's a high-stakes double elimination format. It features some of the world's top players. People can follow along online, even purchase tickets to watch the action in person. That competition runs through March 13th.
It's almost time to spring forward.
Daylight saving time officially starts this coming Sunday morning at 2 a.m. That's when we turn our clocks up 1 hour. Sleep medicine specialist Dr. Thomas Seiler at SSML St. Joseph Hospital in St. Charles says it's a change to our body clocks that should not be taken lightly.
Springing forward has been shown to increase the risk of certain disorders, from cognitive to mental health issues, digestive disorders, heart disease, and that sort of thing.
Dr. Seiler says in the week after daylight saving time begins, there's a 24% increased risk of heart attacks, an 8% jump in strokes, and a 6% spike in car accidents. Dr. Seiler says if you had to pick one time to stick with all year long, the best choice for our health would be standard time, where we are right now. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Today is National Unplugging Day. People are encouraged to take a break from technology, electronics, even social media.
Did you know as of 2024, it's estimated there were 5.7 billion people on social media. That's more than 2/3 of the world's population, and even more people own a smartphone. That means 6.8 billion people have the potential to butt dial you at any given moment. That's a lot of phones.
That's a lot of phones. And I mean, it's a computer in your pocket.
It
We
is.
use it for everything.
My kids don't consider it a computer, though. They're always asking me, like, I'm Google. And I'm like, you literally have a computer in your hand. It's not a computer. It's a phone. It's a computer. You never use it for a phone. Let's be honest. It is 6:54.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, March 6th, include this artist.
My thirst levels are infinity and beyond. Sipping on that lemon.
That is rapper-producer Tyler, the Creator. He's 35 years old today. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan is 100 years old today.
Whoa.
Rock musician David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, 80. And actress Millicent Simmons is 23.
Local celebrity birthdays include Kelley Kiewatowski, also Janet Nations, Karen Kelley, and Terry Stein of Shiloh celebrating today. Happy birthday wishes to Ben James, Kitty Harrison, Maxine Clark, Fletcher Lane, Amy Shaw, Don Ray, Captain Garen Mosby, Chris Zimmerman, Logan Williams. Happy 7th birthday to you, and happy birthday, Ed Schuler, from your friends.
This is the best birthday ever.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now that you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have restrictions eastbound 370, Megan, on the Discovery Bridge. Road work going on there. It looks like it's down to one lane as you get onto the bridge. So eastbound 370 is jammed about midway back to Elm Newtown. If you're coming in, you may want to think about eastbound 70. Now, eastbound 70 out west is slow, Lake St. Louis all the way to K, but east of there, if you don't take 370, it opens up. And eastbound 64 just a little busy at Prospect. And after that, you're good to go until you get around 170. Next update is 710 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, the 6th of March. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
From runt to flagship, Six Flags St. Louis is sold.
Yeah, you could call Six Flags St. Louis certainly one of the bigger properties.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Association feel about the idea that salaries could be higher if the benefits package wasn't so costly. I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Dense fog will gradually dissipate this morning, then breezy and much warmer later today with some sunshine, the high 81.
Arch Madness rolls on and an encouraging start from the Cardinals' Dustin May. I'm Brian Feldman. Sports in 15 minutes.
The U.S. takes out an Iranian drone carrier. That story coming up from CBS News.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Tomorrow marks 1 week of war, and Israeli airstrikes are pounding the capitals of Iran and Lebanon. The U.S. military says it's taken out an Iranian drone carrier at sea. Correspondent Imtiaz Tayab reports from Doha.
In the capital, Tehran, the devastation is clear, with powerful explosions across the city of nearly 10 million people. Still, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi insists it's not over.
We are not asking for a ceasefire.
As Iranian drones and missiles continue to target U.S. allies across the Gulf and beyond Israel.
At least 20,000 Americans stranded in the Middle East arrived home overnight. Crude oil prices have shot up more than 20% over the past week to their highest level since April of 2024. President Trump.
My administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory.
Gas prices in the U.S. went up 7 cents overnight to a nationwide average of $3.32 a gallon. The president's dismissed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's not shedding any tears.
Hey, Kristi Noem, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Here's your legacy: corruption and chaos, parents and children tear-gassed, moms and nurses, U.S. citizens getting shot in the face.
Noem removed for the way she's handled ICE crackdowns, a $250 million ad campaign, and an alleged affair. The president's named Oklahoma's Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen to replace her. The military plans to exhume the remains of dozens of crew members of the USS Arizona, killed during the attack on Pearl Harbor.
The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
The 88 sailors and Marines were buried as unknowns in a hurry. DNA technology may help identify them. The disinterments from the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific are due to start in November. The DNA will be compared to samples from family members of missing troops. More than 900 sailors and Marines are still entombed inside the USS Arizona. Their remains will not be disturbed. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Who says everything goes downhill as you age? Check this out.
The new Yale study says nearly half of adults over 65 showed improvements in their cognitive and physical function over time. They also found people with a more positive view about aging tended to do better than people who viewed aging negatively.
CBS's Michael George. Dow futures down 291. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
At 7:04, we have sunny skies, 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, March 6th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A possible road rage shooting has police searching for a suspect. Missouri State Highway Patrol responding to a shooting at Interstate 10 near I-70. It should be 70 near I-70, around 1:30 yesterday. Highway Patrol spokesperson Sergeant Dallas Thompson says officials are unsure what prompted the shooting and if the men involved knew each other beforehand.
When troopers arrived on scene, they found a vehicle unoccupied. The windows had been knocked out of it or shot out of it. They searched the area, was unable to locate anybody. A witness stopped and said that a male had gotten out of the vehicle and was picked up by another motorist, and they left.
Thompson said officers have learned the man was treated for a gunshot wound in his right arm at a local hospital. The State Highway Patrol is still investigating the incident.
The patrol has released dramatic dash cam and body cam footage from a fatal 2024 shooting that happened after a high-speed pursuit on Interstate 44. The video shows the moment a trooper cornered a suspect after a rollover crash, ordering the man to drop his weapon before a volley of gunfire erupted.
Put your hands in the air, drop it!
That suspect wanted for a kidnapping and arson in Texas and was killed in the exchange. Authorities later found a female victim dead inside the overturned vehicle. They determined she'd been killed at least 24 hours before the chase began.
Mayor Kara Spencer suggesting salaries for police officers could be higher if the city wasn't on the hook for the generous benefits packages they get. President of the state-appointed police board isn't ruling out cuts to benefits to raise salaries. KMOX reached out to the Police Officers Association, and business manager Joe Steiger says the benefits can't be overlooked as a tool to help retain officers.
Having those benefit structures in place helps us to retain those officers while we backfill this vacancies that we have, hundreds of vacancies.
Steiger says their salaries currently trail the counties by about $10,000, but they don't need to surpass them in order to compete.
Six Flags over Mid-America was an original one of only 3 parks built to be a Six Flags from the ground up. All the rest were built by other theme park chains and later turned into Six Flags. Now the company is selling the St. Louis property along with 6 other regional parks. EPR Properties will take ownership of the underlying real estate, with Orlando-based Enchanted Park set to operate the 6 U.S. locations.
KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked Dr. Martin Lewison, dubbed Professor Roller Coaster, why St. Louis is being jettisoned.
Is this more a function, you think, of the park and the way that Six Flags has stewarded it, or is this St. Louis is a declining market kind of a story?
It's probably a combination of both of those things. You know, it may have been more important to the Six Flags Corporation before the merger, but now after the merger, you know, it's unfortunately probably fallen down in the rankings, you know, of performance. And you know, I hate to say it, but what you say is true. St. Louis, storied history, one of the great American cities of all time. Sadly, it's not the city that it used to be. And that, of course, makes it a less attractive market.
Lewison says expect upgrades at Six Flags St. Louis out of necessity. Every Warner Brothers connection, like the Batman ride, Mr. Freeze, and Looney Tunes Land, will need to be renamed and rethemed. The question is, what does the new theme become? That won't happen until next year. The new owners say they'll license a Six Flags brand through the end of this season.
From the KMOX business desk, the St. Louis County prosecutor giving businesses until June 1st to get illegal gambling machines out. Melissa Price-Smith says that date gives plenty of time for voluntary compliance. She says after that date, her office will move forward with criminal charges against properties who continue to violate state gambling statutes.
St. Charles County prosecuting attorney Joseph McCullough already announced that his office would begin enforcement in St. Charles County April 1st. A federal judge ruled several weeks ago that the unregulated slot machines that have popped up across Missouri violate state law.
We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
Save big money on everything for your electrical projects at Menards. Protect your home's power with Square D. Square D products are equipped with the latest safety technology to protect your home's entire electrical system, including load centers, breakers, and whole home surge protectors. Save big money on all Square D electrical products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun, but every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, March 10th and Thursday, March 12th. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. And services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for more information.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. This is Total Information AM. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, just be prepared if you're coming east on 370. Normally, that's an easygoing run, but this is the week they started the bridge rehab work at the Discovery Bridge. They're starting to shift lanes. They're going to have restrictions. It'll be one superstructure carrying both east and westbound traffic. Once they get the rehab done on the other one, then they'll flip it. So right now, what the end result is on eastbound 370, you're down to one lane getting onto the Discovery Bridge. Traffic is jammed east of Elm Newtown. A couple miles of traffic backed up almost on eastbound 370. Eastbound Highway 70, that's just a little busy at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a little slow at TR Hughes. Eastbound 64, there's a little slowdown at Prospect. Also a little slowdown as you come around the bend east of 94 at Research Park. They have the left lane crash in the median there, so the left lane is blocked. Also have a little bit of a delay southbound 270 briefly past 364 because of a minor incident we had there. Eastbound 64 a little slow as well. 170 through Hanley. Eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge, I'm seeing a little heavy traffic as well. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a dense fog advisory until 9 this morning. The fog will gradually lift around the area with time. It'll become breezy and much warmer later today with some sunshine and a high of 81. The record is 85 set in 1956. Mostly cloudy, breezy, balmy tonight, low just 63. A couple of drenching thunderstorms late at night and first thing tomorrow can produce flooding downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Later tomorrow, breezy and turning much cooler with plenty of clouds, temperatures falling into the 50s. Sunny skies Sunday, a nice day, the high 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have sunny skies, 59 degrees in Florissant, 57 both in St. Peters and in downtown St. Louis.
It is 7:12. Former Mayor Tashara Jones being sued over unpaid bills from her reelection campaign. A mail company out of Washington State, Moxie Media, says it entered into a contract with the Jones campaign for $98,000 to produce customized mail programs for the campaign as part of a direct mail strategy.
In that lawsuit, the company alleges they've been seeking payment since late March of last year, but have not received it. They add a part of the contract includes a 9% interest rate, so they're seeking that as well. The Jones campaign's termination filing from May of last year shows the campaign has no cash on hand.
Days after a census report showed the St. Louis region fell a dozen spots in the issuing of new building permits, the city's announcing plans to speed things up. Mayor Spencer says the building permit application process is now online and no longer requires contractors to appear at City Hall in person.
Spend hours sometimes here in order to apply for a building permit. To come back and forth and to go back and forth with revisions, et cetera, can be very, very onerous.
Contractor John Miller with City Carport says he and his clients are thrilled with the quicker turnaround time.
So I'm getting my permits in about 3 days now, as opposed to a minimum of a week for non-historic and 2 weeks for historic.
Mayor Spencer says they are also modernizing the city's zoning code later this year, and they want to see the RAM's money used to spur development in the tornado zone downtown and citywide.
FEMA will not reimburse the city of St. Louis for the bulk of tornado demolition costs. The Federal Emergency Management Agency formally rejected the city's request to pay for demolition of the majority of tornado damaged properties. Now, almost 10 months after the EF3 tornado tore through parts of North St. Louis, the city has identified 1,000 buildings considered dangerous or unsalvageable. Fox 2 says current estimates show FEMA will only cover 20% of those demolition costs.
The latest Beige Book, the snapshot of the economy by the Federal Reserve Bank, shows some strengths and some weaknesses. Charles Gaskin put together the report for our region and says businesses are facing increased utility, insurance, and labor costs.
And so that's leading to some price pressures. And businesses are trying to figure out if they increase their prices, are they going to lose customers, or is there some tolerance for those price increases? So those pressures are still there. But at the same time, not necessarily to the same degree that we saw a couple months ago. There is some easing in the outlook for many of our business contacts.
Overall, prices continue to increase at a moderate rate. Economic activity remains unchanged from the previous report in January, but is expected to increase over the next few months. Employment levels were unchanged, and wage growth was moderate.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
The Cardinals get a couple notable and encouraging pitching performances in their 3-2 win against the Pirates in Bradenton. Dustin May makes his first start of Grapefruit League play and is impressive, allowing just 1 hit in 3 innings. He routinely hits 98-99 with his fastball, which is a velocity that we have not seen from May consistently since 2023. After May is done, Quinn Matthews comes in, and while he gives up a couple runs over 2 2/3 innings, he shows big-time swing and miss stuff. 7 of his 8 outs are via the strikeout. He induces 12 swings and misses on his 50 pitches and gets whiffs on his changeup, slider, and four-seam fastball. Matthews' velo tops out at just a tick under 97 miles per hour. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Cardinals face the Orioles today in Sarasota. First pitch, 12:05. Michael McGreevy on the mound for the Redbirds. He's making his 3rd start of spring as he looks to stake a claim to a spot in the starting rotation. College hoops, big day of Arch Madness right here in St. Louis. The Missouri Valley Conference Tournament continues at Enterprise Center. Quarterfinal action all day long. Game start at noon with Drake taking on Belmont. That's followed by Illinois, Chicago, and Murray State at around 2:30. Valparaiso and Bradley take the court at 6, followed by Northern Iowa and Illinois State at approximately 8:30. Other college hoops. SLU finishes the regular season tomorrow at George Mason. The Billikens already own the number 1 seed in the upcoming A10 conference tournament. Mizzou in action as well tomorrow, hosting 20th ranked Arkansas. The Tigers 20-10 on the year, 10-7 in the SEC. On the ice, the trade deadline arrives at 2:00 today, and the Blues could look awfully different when the time comes. For a team in last place in the Central Division, they have quite a bit they can offer other teams before Doug Armstrong formally hands over the GM reins to Alexander Steen.
It appears no one's untouchable on the Blues, so stay tuned to KMOX for the latest on any trades they make throughout the day. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball. KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait. And don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand is there. And how do the roads look, Roger?
Well, they look pretty good on a Friday with just the one exception, Megan, and that's going to be eastbound 370. That road work they started on the Discovery Bridge. Just one lane of traffic coming through eastbound, and traffic's jammed back at Elm Newtown on eastbound 370 right now. Eastbound Highway 70 from Bryan Road into T.R. Hughes, it's kind of slow. It's a little backed up briefly coming through Natural Bridge as well after that. Southbound 270, Olive de Ladue is heavy. Eastbound 64, Prospect to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slow. That left lane still blocked where the car hit the median wall east of Research Park, so there's heavy traffic about midway back toward 94, so pay attention as you round that bend. Northbound 270 is clear. Eastbound 64 is also a little slow. 170 through Hanley. Northbound 55 just a little off the pace. Bayless Weber. Westbound 64 a little slow, passing 159 and at the 70 split. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The forecast for today is going to be amazing. It's going to feel like summer, and it's not going to last very long. So just keep that in mind. A dense fog advisory in effect until 9, but then we'll have sun and clouds and a high of 81 degrees, 63 overnight. A couple of strong storms will move through late tonight and first thing tomorrow. And we could see downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, but it's also going to take away the temperatures because we'll have temperatures dropping into the 50s for tomorrow, but recovering to 70 by Sunday. Right now, it's 58 degrees and cloudy. And by the way, we have one final pair of tickets to give away for you to see Sting at Stiefel Theater coming up in October. Tickets are on sale now. Don't call now. We're going to do this in about 30 minutes. So after Brian Feldman's next sportscast, be listening for the Sting music for your chance to win.
Well, as we continue on KMOX, Michael Calhoun with you, and we're following up on the big news about one of the original 3 Six Flags theme parks. Six Flags over Mid-America for many decades, Six Flags St. Louis today, Enchanted Parks St. Louis. It appears that will be the case after this season. Joining us right now is the man dubbed Professor Roller Coaster at Farmingdale State College in New York State, Dr. Martin Lewison. Thank you so much for being with us on KMOX, Martin.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Michael.
So taking a look at the 7 parks that are being divested to technically owned by a real estate investment trust, EPR, which will then lease them to an operator, Enchanted Parks, which will actually run them. Is St. Louis the flagship park of this group?
You could say that. There's some other notable parks: Great Escape in upstate New York, Valley Fair in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. But yeah, you could call Six Flags St. Louis certainly one of the bigger properties.
Taking a look at the feedback that people have had about the park, for several years now, taking a look at things like, the queuing lines and the theming there that's been kind of allowed to deteriorate over the years. Do you expect that this is good news, that maybe a new owner, new management structure could mean new investment into the park that Six Flags has not made?
Well, it's certainly possible. I mean, the reason that Six Flags, is selling these parks is because probably, a dollar spent on capital expenditures, certain parks are going to give you a higher return on that dollar of investment. So probably Six Flags saw these parks as relative underperformers in terms of that investment dollar, which is why these parks have been neglected. And they don't constitute a huge chunk of Six Flags, either attendance or revenues. So it's not worth it for Six Flags to invest, but maybe for EPR, it's going to be for them. It might be a significant return as far as they're concerned. So there's always, reason to cross your fingers and hope that EPR sees a reason to at least, give things a new coat of paint. I know that they'll want to try to win over the local markets to the new owner, because I'm sure some people are just a little bewildered.
Is this a function, do you think, of the St. Louis market? It's declined in market size. We've had stories recently about census figures and population data. But then again, other institutions like the St. Louis Cardinals draw millions of fans from states around. Is this more a function, you think, of the park and the way that Six Flags has stewarded it? Or is this St. Louis as a declining market kind of a story?
It's probably a combination of both of those things. Six Flags is a large chain, and it's just doubled in size. So it may have been more important to the Six Flags Corporation before the merger, but now after the merger, it's unfortunately probably fallen down in the rankings, of performance. And I hate to say it, but what you say is true. Six Flags. St. Louis. Storied history, one of the great American cities of all time, gateway to the West. Sadly, it's not the city that it used to be. And that, of course, makes it a less attractive market. But for a company like EPR, again, let's hope that EPR sees it as an opportunity and chooses to invest.
Now, when it comes to, there'll have to be some kind of investment because they'll have to strip out all of the DC and the Looney Tunes, the Warner Brothers intellectual property, right? So, I mean, Batman, for instance, won't be called Batman, and they'll have to make some changes that reflect that, right?
That's absolutely right. Although, if I'm not mistaken, the deal won't actually go through immediately.
Yeah, they get to license the brand through the end of this season.
Exactly. Now, I've seen parks do incredible quick change jobs where they took all the theming out and put new stuff in a rapid, in a short period of time. But let's hope that EPR can be creative and come up with some new theming for when the changeover does happen inevitably. We might get some really cool names for some of the rides. I mean, I know if I was a marketer, I would be completely psyched to, come up with new names and new theming. So it could be a fun thing.
It is now 7:26, and the time check is sponsored for you by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Lombardo.com. Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes has become synonymous with quality, luxury, and customization, offering thoughtfully designed homes in the area's most desirable communities. And for the month of March, we're giving you even more room to live. For a limited time, receive a free finished recreation room in the lower level, perfect for entertaining, movie nights, a home gym, or whatever fits your lifestyle. This special incentive is available in select communities and only during the month of March. Visit LombardoHomes.com to explore and be sure to ask your sales manager for details.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Rock icon Sting brings his Sting 3.0 tour to Steeple Theater Saturday, October 17th. Fronting his power trio, Sting performs the most electrifying songs from his timeless discography. Presented by the Cherry Tree Music Company and Live Nation. Tickets to the Sting 3.0 tour go on sale Friday, 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Don't miss Sting 3.0 live.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other. Yeah. There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers now, because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 7:30, we have sunny skies, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, of course, we still have the restrictions on eastbound 370, lane restrictions getting on the Discovery Bridge, and that's, again, the beginning of a long-term rehab project that will last through July of next year. Eastbound 370 is a solid jam at Elm Newtown now, so be prepared. Eastbound Highway 70, as an alternate route, doesn't look bad. It's a little slow approaching Bryan Road. There's a little slowdown past Cave Springs. A backup. I can't tell if there's an incident. I think there's an incident on the right shoulder again. Eastbound 70 just east of the Natural Bridge exit, where we had an earlier incident this morning. It's backed up at Natural Bridge because of that. Southbound 270, Olive down to Ladue, slow, but North 270 wide open, believe it or not. Eastbound 64, a little busy at Prospect. Still a slowdown east of 94 through Research Park. They still have that incident. Looks like mainly on the left shoulder, maybe partially blocking the left lane. Then it's slow briefly. 170 through Hanley, northbound 55, Bayless through Weber's heavy, westbound 64 on the Illinois side, just slow briefly through 159. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a warm day today. We could get a high of 81 degrees, a lot of sunshine, some clouds as well. Still continuing to be balmy as we head into the evening, an overnight low of 63, but we could also see some storms overnight and into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, temperatures falling into the 50s. Right now, again, sunshine, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:31. A possible road rage shooting has police searching for a suspect. The Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to the shooting near 70 and 170 about 1:30 yesterday.
Highway Patrol spokesman Sergeant Dallas Thompson says officials are unsure what prompted the shooting and whether those involved knew each other.
When troopers arrived on scene, they found a vehicle unoccupied. The windows had been knocked out of it or shot out of it. They searched the area, was unable to locate anybody. A witness stopped and said that a male had gotten out of the vehicle and was picked up by another motorist, and they left.
Thompson says officers have now learned that he was treated for a gunshot wound added to his right arm at a local hospital. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is still investigating the incident.
Lake St. Louis police still looking for a suspect in Tuesday's fatal shooting. The St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney's Office issuing an arrest warrant for 40-year-old Ranferi Rojas Solano, who's been charged with first-degree murder. And once he is arrested, he'll be held on a $1 million cash-only bond. There is a $2,000 cash reward being offered for information leading to his arrest.
The St. Louis City Chief of Police says while their benefits package helps retain officers, starting salary is often the only thing that matters to new recruits. How does the union feel?
I think what the chief said is absolutely right. I think when you're starting out brand new, that salaries are extremely important.
Business manager for the St. Louis Police Officers Association, Joe Steiger, says salaries do need to get closer to the counties in order to compete. The mayor suggested police salaries could be higher if the benefits package wasn't so costly. The president of the state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners didn't say no to the idea of cutting benefits to raise salaries. Steiger says filling out the officer ranks cannot be viewed as a one-way problem.
This is a two-tier problem. I mean, we have a retention problem as well as a recruitment problem.
Steiger says a survey they conducted years ago shows officers who make it between 7 to 10 years tend to stay with the department until their benefits vest after 20 years. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
And the news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:33, and coming up next, we'll check your Bloomberg Money Minutes.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Formula One has seen close to $2 billion wiped off its market value since the Iran war started. The new season begins this weekend in Australia, the first of 24 races this year. But there's lots of concern about two competitions next month in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. The Middle East conflict threatens to hit Formula One at a time when business is booming. American interest is continuing to grow in the sport, thanks to the success of the Netflix show Formula One Drive to Survive and F1 the movie. Crude is soaring once again this morning, topping $86 a barrel for the first time in almost 2 years. The war is upending oil flows in the Middle East. Stock futures are seeing losses this morning. On the radar for investors is the jobs report for February. Economists are forecasting the U.S. added 55,000 jobs last month compared to 130,000 in January. The unemployment rate expected to stay steady at 4.3%. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 7:36, and the news continues on KMOX. Worse than a prison. 911 calls, interviews reveal problems at ICE's largest detention camp. Serious medical and mental health emergencies have been routine at the nation's largest ICE detention facility since it opened in August. Data from more than 100 911 calls at Camp East Montana in El Paso, Texas, along with interviews and court filings, offer a disturbing portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress. Texas Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez has ended his re-election bid after admitting he had an affair with an aide who later died by suicide. Gonzalez had faced recent calls from GOP leadership to end his re-election bid and from others in Congress to just resign. The move is the latest in a quickly changing situation that stunned Capitol Hill and resulted in a House Ethics Committee investigation. 3 former presidents are set to attend Jesse Jackson's celebration of life. Along with Grammy-winning artists, clergy, and elected officials, former Democratic U.S. Presidents Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Bill Clinton are also expected to attend a Chicago celebration of life today for the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. Stick around because we are going to get you traffic and weather, and we'll also be giving away our final pair of tickets for you to see Sting coming up in October. And right now it's 7:38.
At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
Do the devices known as pulse oximeters, which measure the amount of oxygen in someone's blood, underestimate or overestimate this value in people with darker skin? Controversy swirls with release of data from an FDA-funded study that runs counter to previous studies. Rohan Mathur, a critical care medicine expert at Johns Hopkins, frames the issue.
As a critical care doctor taking care of sick people in the ICU, we have to measure things that are crucial to making sure that someone's care is appropriate. One of our critical devices is something called a pulse oximeter. It's what measures how much oxygenation we think you have in your blood. Usually sits on your finger, and we've been using this for decades. Just over the last few years especially, there's been some controversy with these devices where we started to realize that these pulse oximeters might not be as accurate as we think they are, especially in people with darker skin.
Mathur says it's clear additional research is needed. At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
The days of COVID and most people working from their pajamas have clearly come and gone, but many people are still not working in the office 5 days a week. Let's take a look at where things stand. Right now, about 11% of new job postings are for fully remote positions, while 24% are hybrid. And hybrid generally means 3 days in office and 2 days at home. But many jobs, including service roles, cannot be done remotely. And so for the positions that can be done at home, 52% of those are now hybrid, and 27% remain fully remote. Flexibility is easier to find as you climb the ladder. 30% of senior level roles offer hybrid options, compared to just 18% for entry-level positions. The bottom line is that for non-service roles, hybrid seems to be the new normal. Pre-COVID, this current work schedule may have been unimaginable, but things have certainly changed over the past few years in the search for your next job. With your next job, I'm Stephen Greenberg.
7:40. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Pete, rush hour time, Megan, and we have a big jam on eastbound 370. Of course, this is the first stage of the rehab project for the Discovery Bridges, and we have it restricted down to one. It looks like really you have 2 lanes going through there, but they're just using one. Eastbound 370 on the Discovery. It's a solid jam at Elm Newtown. Eastbound Highway 70, a little busy through Bryan Road, K to TR Hughes, right through 370, the Blanchette Bridge into 270, and then we're backed up from Cypress up to Natural Bridge at the airport there, just east of there. It looks like another crash with the right lane blocked. Eastbound 64, slow approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Still a little slow down past Research Park. They did open up that left lane, though, it appears. And then there's heavy traffic from McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 approaching Clayton Warson's backed up. Looks like there may be an incident there. South 270, Olive down to Ladou's busy. North 270, a slowdown through Gravois. Doherty Ferry up through the Clayton Road overpass. 55, Bayless up to River de Pears, heavy. Westbound 64, brief delay at 159. Northbound Route 3, Jam Queenie up through Monsanto. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It It is 7:41, and joining us right now is our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And there's no fog downtown. It looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful day, Joe.
Yeah, most of it's gone now, Debbie. And I think it is going to be a beautiful day. The breeze is going to be picking up. And with some sunshine, I think temperatures are going to make a run at 80 degrees this afternoon. The record of 85, probably not going to be attained today, but it's certainly going to feel very warm just the same. Now, front will come through the area late tonight, first thing tomorrow. Ahead of it, breezy and balmy tonight. Our overnight, though, will be in the lower 60s. And late at night, first thing tomorrow, there'll be a couple of thunderstorms that'll come through, and they can be severe with a risk for hail and damaging winds and certainly some flooding downpours. But behind them, it'll be breezy, and it will turn cooler with leftover clouds. Our high tomorrow is in the morning at 62, 63, and then it goes down into the 50s from there. But we're back to sunny skies on Sunday, and with it in the high near 70, we're back up to 80+ on Monday with sunshine. Clouds increase Tuesday, temperature well up into the 70s. Another round of severe weather appears likely later Tuesday or Tuesday night. 62 right now at St. Peter's. At 61 in Florissant, partly sunny, 62. Beautiful start to the day downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Quarterfinal action in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament goes all day today, starting at noon. I'm Brian Feldman, sports in 2 minutes.
More news now at 7:43. The Justice Department has released Epstein files that include a woman's accusations against President Trump.
The department says the files have been mistakenly withheld during an earlier review because they were incorrectly labeled as duplicative. They contain a summary of the FBI's interview of a woman who claimed Jeffrey Epstein flew her to either New York or New Jersey, where she said she bit President Trump after he tried to sexually assault her. She also claimed Epstein had arranged sexual encounters with other men and schemed to have her mother sent to prison. Her accusations remain uncorroborated. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A federal appeals court has officially wiped out restrictions on immigration agents' use of force that protesters and journalists were seeking during Operation Midway Blitz.
The Seventh Circuit vacated federal judge Sarah Ellis's ruling that restricted agents' use of tear gas and other riot controls, calling her injunction overbroad and constitutionally suspect. A Reagan appointee dissented from two Trump-appointed judges in the split ruling that dismissed the appeal by the federal government. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a huge legal win. Judge Ellis had left the door open for journalists, clergy, and protesters to refile the case. This ruling negates that. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
There are ripple effects in Washington and beyond after President Trump fires Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Democrats like Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker say the clashes with the administration's ICE posture in Chicago and elsewhere are still fresh in his mind. In a post on social media, he tried to frame Noem's departure and suggested she is by no means off the hook.
Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
Missouri State Senator Tracy McCreary has authored a bill to expand protections to victims of cybercrime.
Only in the last 20 or so years that we even have seen such big advances in technology that would even make crimes such horrific like these cyber stalking and harassment crimes even possible. So, you know, part of a job as a lawmaker is we have to keep up with the times, and we have to look at ways to modernize our statutes to keep up with the new crimes that the bad guys come up with.
The bill would make resources that are already in existence and available for domestic and sexual violence victims also accessible to victims of cybercrime, things like security precautions and preserving evidence.
The Missouri Senate greenlights a bill to raise the speed limit. The bill would raise the state's speed limit in rural areas from 70 to 75 miles per hour, a measure the Senate approved earlier this week. A spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Transportation says if the speed limit does get raised, there will be an increase in fatalities and serious injuries.
The spokesperson said drivers will need an additional 90 feet to stop when braking at 75 miles per hour when compared to 70. The bill's sponsor, Senator Jamie Berger, says the bill comes after some border states raised their speed limits and that vehicle safety features have come a long way. The bill now sits in the House.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman filling in for Tom Ackerman. Arch Madness rolls on at Enterprise Center. Quarterfinal action of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament all day long. Starts at noon and goes until late tonight. We get things going with the 1 seed Belmont facing Drake at 12. Immediately followed by the 4-5 game, Illinois, Chicago, and Murray State at around 2:30. The next game starts at 6 with second-seeded Bradley taking on Valparaiso. That's followed by Northern Iowa and 3-seed Illinois State at approximately 8:30. Yesterday, tough loss for Southern Illinois in the first round against Drake. The Salukis fell 67-63, finishing their season at an even 16-16. SIU just could not connect from three, shooting just 4 for 25 from deep, including 1 of 13 in the second half. Other college hoops action: SLU finishes the regular season tomorrow at George Mason. The Billikens already own the 1 seed in the upcoming A-10 conference tournament. Mizzou in action as well tomorrow, hosting 20th ranked Arkansas. The Tigers 20-10 on the season. On the ice, what will Doug Armstrong do in his final trade deadline before passing over the GM reins to Alexander Steen? It's a big question, and one that'll get answered by 2 o'clock today. There could be sizable movement. There could be little. But for a team in last place in the Central Division, no one appears to be untouchable for the Blues. In baseball, more positive trends emerging out of Cardinals spring training. KMOX's Matt Pauley reports from Jupiter.
The Cardinals collect a 3-2 win against the Pirates in Bradenton yesterday, scoring just enough to win. While spring stats do need to be taken with the proverbial grain of salt, it is notable what top prospect J.J. Weatherholt is doing. He goes 1 for 2 with a walk. Weatherholt has now drawn at least 1 walk in all but 1 of his 7 appearances this spring. His spring on-base percentage is .579. With his hit, he's now hitting .333 and carries an 1162 OPS. The Cardinals get their first run of the day thanks to Nolan Gorman. Against Mitch Keller, he hits a slider 411 feet for his second home run of spring. While Gorman only has 3 hits so far in Grapefruit League play, showing his power is encouraging and could be a big part of a Cardinals offense that has some question marks in it. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinals spring training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Cardinals in Sarasota today facing the Orioles at 12:05. Michael McGreevy on the mound. With reports at 15:45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
We'll be together tonight. We'll be together. We'll be together.
You know what that music means. It means we have a pair of tickets to give away for you to see Sting. He is coming to Stiefel Theater October 17th. Live Nation has given us this last pair of tickets to give away. If you are caller number 5 at 314-955-1120, 314-955-1120, caller number 5 gets the tickets.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 27th. And KMOX's Takes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate this hometown holiday with Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. I've had the privilege of seeing miracles, broken families rebuilt, every crash, every workplace injury, every medical mistake. Fighting back can work. We've gone toe-to-toe with insurance giants, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion recovered. Size matters. Reputation matters. Results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:51. Time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest jam we have, Megan, is still eastbound 370 with the road work at the Discovery Bridge. It's a solid jam from Elm Newtown, approaching Elm Newtown, all the way to the bridge, so tough going there. If you're on eastbound 70, it's a little slow. TR Hughes to 79, 370 to Cave Springs, 94 to east of 94 to the Blanchette Bridge, and then through our city. We have a jam from Lindbergh to Air Flights due to that crash we had at Natural Bridge. They cleared it. Southbound 170 at 70, some slow traffic. They're reporting an overturned vehicle off the roadway They said it was northbound north of Scudder, but it may actually be southbound near 70 because I do see delays there. Southbound 170 is jammed at the Parkway. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, is a little slowdown around the Smokehouse, right at Ballast, it's heavy, and then McKnight through to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Big Bend, and a little back up through McKnight. We had an incident. They cleared to the shoulder at Clayton Worston. 44 westbound, Jamison out to Shrewsbury's backed up. North 270, Doherty Ferry up through Clayton Road. South 270, Olive to Ladue. 55, a little slow at River to Pear. Still have a train Route 3 at Monsanto. It's jammed back through Judith. And westbound 64 slow at 159. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Congratulations going out to Ryan in St. Louis, who picks up our final pair of tickets to see Sting. Again, tickets are on sale now if you didn't get a chance to pick up a free pair. Taking a look at the forecast, it's going to be a very summer-like day today. 81 degrees will be our high with a mix of sun and clouds, but we've got some strong storms moving through tonight into tomorrow morning. So the temperature tomorrow is going to start falling through the 50s, but then recovering sunny and 70 on Sunday. It's 61 degrees and cloudy right now.
The news continues at 7:53. Pope Leo has a new Ford Explorer. WWJ radio reporter Jeff Gilbert explains.
Ford CEO Jim Farley giving the Pope a new Explorer. The Explorer is built on Chicago's South Side, an area where the Pope once lived. It has extras like the Chicago skyline stitched into the center console. Workers at Ford Chicago Assembly Plant knew this vehicle was being made for a VIP. They just didn't know who.
And the Ford CEO presented that vehicle to the Pope personally last weekend.
That work going on near St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church on 9th Street in LaSalle Park is for the offices of the Congregation of the Missions Western Province. The congregation was founded by St. Vincent de Paul in 1625. A vacant building already owned by the Vincentians is undergoing a $6 million renovation. The Business Journal reports it'll feature salvaged stained glass windows that depict St. Vincent de Paul and other Vincentian saints.
A St. Louis County tax preparer pleads guilty to 3 counts of wire fraud. Prosecutors say 45-year-old Nicole Taylor submitted at least 15 fraudulent applications for pandemic-era Paycheck Protection Program loans. Taylor pleaded guilty to 3 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of engaging in an unlawful monetary transaction yesterday.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says Taylor got at least $1.2 million on behalf of 8 corporations, only 2 of which actually had income, in addition to creating the other companies and opening bank accounts for them solely to apply for PPP loans. Prosecutors say she recruited others to file in exchange for kickbacks. Prosecutors also say Taylor used much of the money for personal expenses and luxury goods. She'll be sentenced in June.
Teens with anger issues are more likely to face lasting physical problems later in life.
A study published in the journal Health Psychology found that aggressive behavior in early adolescence is linked to faster biological aging and a higher body mass index by the age of 30. But authors of the study say it's still not understood why aggression is linked to faster aging.
Certified eating counselor gives KMOX advice for parents of picky eaters.
Food for them, and they're the ones deciding how much and what they're eating. So definitely let kids eat intuitively and stop when they're full, and give them another opportunity to eat later or come back to their food later.
Michelle Wilson is a registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition Counseling. She says bargaining with kids in order to get them to eat a certain food is fine, as long as it doesn't involve consequences if they choose not to eat it.
So if you had several fruits and several veggies in front of them and they could choose whatever they wanted, then that could be totally fine. But if it's like you have to eat one of everything and there's like 10 things on there, then that could be overwhelming.
St. Louis University is hosting the longest-running National Spelling Bee. The School of Education will host the Regional Script Spelling Bee contest this Saturday at 9 a.m. in Chaffetz Hall Auditorium. That contest will consist of students from 33 local elementary and middle schools. The winner of the contest will advance to the National Script Spelling Bee, which will be held in Washington, D.C. in May. The Script Spelling Bee started in 1925. It's the nation's largest and longest-running educational program.
One of the highest rated events in American chess is currently underway in the Central West End. The 2026 American Cup at the St. Louis Chess Club features $400,000 in total prize money and is a high-stakes double elimination format. It features some of the world's top players, including St. Louis's Fabiano Caruana, number 3 in the world. People can follow along online or even purchase tickets to watch the action in person. That competition runs through March 13th.
It's 7:56.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now that you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have this jam, Debbie, on eastbound Highway 370. Roadwork on the Discovery Bridge beginning a long-term rehab project as it restricted to one. Sometimes I see 2 lanes getting through. It just depends on how folks are using the bridge. But it's jammed approaching Elm Newtown on eastbound 370 right now. Eastbound Highway 70, we have an incident near 5th Street. It's backed up approaching 94. After that, it's thinned out around the airport. Southbound 170 delays. South of Scudder down to 70, we had a report of an overturned vehicle in the area. If you're on southbound 270, it's clear. North 270 is just a little busy around Clayton Road up to 64. Eastbound 64, the delays from west of McKnight headed into Big Bend. Westbound 44, Jamison out to River to Pears backed up, and still a jam. Route 3 at Monsanto in both directions because of a train. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Futures markets are falling after the Labor Department released a new jobs report last hour showing an unexpected downturn. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
The economy lost 92,000 jobs in February. That was a surprise. Analysts were expecting about 50 or 60,000 jobs created.
The unemployment rate rose to 4.4%.
The Labor Department said this is mostly due to strike activity. Once strikes are settled, those numbers usually come back in the subsequent month.
That strike at Kaiser Permanente, Dow futures down 556 right now. Tomorrow marks a full week of war. U.S. fighter jets prep for takeoff from an aircraft carrier as Israel pounded targets in Tehran and Lebanon. Correspondent Imtiaz Tayab from Doha.
For a 7th straight day, the U.S. and Israel are carrying out punishing strikes across Iran, claiming to have achieved near complete air superiority after destroying more than 80% of Iran's air defense systems.
President Trump's just posted to Truth Social only an unconditional surrender by Iran will end the war. We're learning Iran likely surveilled the Tactical Operations Center in Kuwait, where 6 U.S. troops were killed.
CBS News has reviewed a U.S. Army Central memo that says small drones were seen flying around the area and were likely conducting reconnaissance ahead of the deadly Iranian drone attack. After the attack, U.S. forces recovered GPS transponders connected to balloons or parachutes near Patriot missile defense systems. It's not clear if those transponders played a role in Iran's drone launches. The memo says Iranian-aligned militia groups had helped monitor U.S. troop movements ahead of the initial U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Washington Post reporting Russia is providing Iran with intelligence to target U.S. forces. President Trump has tapped Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen to replace Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
An administration source says Noem's drama, quote, overshadowed and distracted from Trump's immigration agenda.
That drama included a pricey ad campaign and an alleged affair. So much for Pope Francis' second-hand Renault. The new Pope has a shiny new set of wheels. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert.
Pope Leo is from Chicago's South Side, where Ford Chicago Assembly Plant is located. So Ford CEO Jim Farley thought it only appropriate to give him a special Explorer built at the plant. It's a personal gift from Farley and his wife, who presented it at the Vatican last Saturday.
Dow futures now down 585. NAS futures off 366. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, March 6th. I'm Megan Lynch. A possible road rage shooting has police searching for a suspect. Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to that shooting on 70 near Interstate 170 around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Highway Patrol spokesperson Sergeant Dallas Thompson says officials are unsure what prompted the shooting and if the men involved knew each other before that.
When troopers arrived on scene, they found a vehicle unoccupied. The windows had been knocked out of it or shot out of it. They searched the area, was unable to locate anybody. A witness stopped and said that a male had gotten out of the vehicle and was picked up by another motorist, and they left.
Thompson says officers have learned the man was treated for a gunshot wound to his right arm at a local hospital. A St. Louis County woman sentenced for killing her fiance in a murder-to-hire scheme. Victoria Williams pleaded guilty in September to charges including conspiracy to commit murder for hire and money laundering. She appeared in federal court yesterday and was sentenced to more than 18 years in prison. Williams' fiance was gunned down in his home in North St. Louis in 2011. His murder was made to look like a robbery. New footage provides a firsthand look into a deadly shooting involving two Missouri State troopers. The video shows a September 2024 pursuit in St. Louis County, an incident the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney reviewed and declined to prosecute. The recording captures the radio traffic as troopers moved in to secure the scene after the suspect was struck in the exchange of gunfire.
Hold fire! He dropped it! 6 said he will not believe.
While the suspect was shot and killed, neither of the state troopers involved were injured. The newly released public files include a February 2025 letter from county prosecutors officially closing that use of force investigation. St. Louis City Chief of Police Robert Tracy says the department's strong benefits package doesn't necessarily help recruit new officers. While the mayor and board float cuts for raises, how does the police union feel?
Joe Steiger, business manager of the St. Louis City Police Officers Association, tells KMOX he agrees with Chief Tracy, saying salary is often the most important thing when recruiting new officers. However, he says retaining officers is equally important, which is where the benefits package is of value.
As police officers get older and they start having families or having children or buying houses, then they start thinking about retirement age and thinking about these other benefits.
Steiger says their salaries still sit around $10,000 a year behind the county, but the city doesn't need to overcome them to compete.
You can show folks, hey, you can come here. It's a larger department. There's more ability for you to move. There's different places you can go within the department.
He says the new board seeking out officer input through their first year is already improving morale and should help with recruiting. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Six Flags is selling its St. Louis amusement park, one of the company's original 3 locations.
Six Flags. It's playtime.
The parent company says it's offloading 7 of its regional parks to Kansas City-based real estate firm EPR Properties for $331 million. Those parks include St. Louis, Worlds of Fun in KC, Valley Fair in Minnesota, and more.
They don't constitute a huge chunk of Six Flags
either attendance or revenue.
Dr. Martin Lewison is a professor at New York's Farmingdale State College, known as Professor Roller Coaster. Fans are hoping the new owners see more upside at the St. Louis Park than Six Flags has in recent decades.
It's not worth it for Six Flags to invest, but maybe for EPR, it's going to be for them. It might be a significant return as far as they're concerned.
An Orlando company under the brand Enchanted Parks is expected to lease the St. Louis property and operate it going forward. The parks will license and keep the Six Flags brand through the end of this year, and season passes will be honored through the end of this season. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, the St. Louis County prosecutor is giving businesses until June 1st to get illegal gambling machines off their property. Melissa Price-Smith says that date gives plenty of time for voluntary compliance. After that date, she says her office will move forward with criminal charges against properties who continue to violate state gambling statutes. St. Charles County Prosecuting Attorney Joseph McCullough already announced his office would begin enforcement April 1st. A federal judge ruled several weeks ago the unregulated slot machines that popped up across the state of Missouri violate state law. It's now 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather, and then you'll get to meet the new head of marketing for Explore St. Louis. She's going to help market St. Louis to travelers across the world. It's 8:08.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-3062. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-3062. That's 800-566-3062. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. Time to check the roads. Here's Roger Brand with the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, no change with our jam, Megan, on eastbound 370. Restrictions at the Discovery Bridge, a couple lanes getting in onto the bridge due to road work, and it's jammed solid still back through Elm Newtown on eastbound 370. Eastbound Highway 70, east of Cave Springs, there's a couple of slowdowns into our city as folks are sticking with that instead of 370 as an alternate route. Northbound 170, they found that overturned vehicle off the roadway. They're on the shoulder there. I can see them. Northbound 170, just north of 70. A little slow there, but there's no lane blockage. It doesn't appear that way anyway. Eastbound 64, a little busy approaching Prospect, a little backup at Clayton Worston. McKnight to Big Bend is slow. North 270 just kind of heavy through 64. Westbound 44, you've got a backup Jameson out to Shrewsbury. Still have restrictions on Route 3 at Monsanto. Southbound Route 3 is at 8th Street, but northbound Route 3 is jammed back to Judith. So be prepared. You'll be waiting in traffic a little bit there. Westbound 64 for the time being is thinned out through 159. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A dense fog advisory remains in effect until 9 this morning. Dense fog to start the day, then becoming breezy and much warmer later today with some sunshine, the high 81. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and very mild tonight, though just 63. Late tonight and first thing tomorrow, a couple of drenching thunderstorms will cross the area that can produce hail, downpours, and damaging wind gusts. Then later tomorrow, breezy and turning cooler with plenty of clouds, temperatures falling into the 50s. Sunshine returns for Sunday, the high 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have sunny skies, 62 degrees in Florissant, 61 in St. Peters, and sunshine, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The woman who will help market St. Louis to travelers across the U.S. and the world is in her first full week on the job this week. She joins me now in studio. Julie Gilbert is the new Explore St. Louis Chief Marketing Officer. Welcome to St. Louis and welcome to KMOX.
Well, thank you so much, Megan. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
You are overseeing advertising, brand strategy, public relations, travel trade promotion, international marketing, data research, and the film office. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you wrap your arms around that in your first few days?
You know, it's immersing yourself in all of those various verticals throughout the marketing discipline. And it's something that I have done for a while. And so much with data drives our execution of our marketing strategy. And then we utilize the other offices to amplify that as well.
So from your perspective as someone who is coming into St. Louis, what do you feel like our brand is?
I think that's an opportunity for us to explore and really build out. You know, we're looking at a brand revitalization, renovation, and I think that as we get out throughout the communities, we'll be able to really talk to the communities because they are the ones that are going to tell us who we are and what our brand is from a St. Louis regional perspective.
How are we unique here in St. Louis
Oh
when
my
it comes to, yeah, a lot of ways, right?
You know, I, since really diving into St. Louis and the region, there is so much content and so many experiences that I believe can just take us to that next level, from culinary to performing arts to music to the neighborhoods and the uniqueness of all the neighborhoods. It really is a remarkable destination. And I think we just need to embrace all of our flaws, all of our great things, and build that into our stories as we begin to build our brand for particularly the next generation. We're seeing a lot of travel from Gen Z, and they love that. They want to immerse themselves into a destination like St. Louis region where they can touch and feel and be a part of what our locals are a part of as well.
Now, you come to St. Louis from Door County, Wisconsin, where you were president and CEO of
Yes.
Destination Door County. What do you feel like you bring to St. Louis that you learned there in that role?
I think the most important thing that I bring is if your listeners are familiar with Door County, there are 19 municipalities, and including an island that you actually have to take a ferry to get to. So you have a lot of mini ecosystems throughout the peninsula. And in order to be able to market the Door County brand, you have to really bring all of those people together. And that's boards that are for the municipality, it's historical associations throughout the peninsula, it's cultural, it's civic. And we did that, and we did that very well together. And we were all aligned in that overall goal for what the community, the county, really was trying to achieve. So that probably is a strength that I feel will be very helpful here, is aligning with the variety of perspectives and communities where then we can build out the brand in order to reflect all of that.
Because we do have a few municipalities
Yes.
here, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes.
One thing that, and Kat Neville is here in the studio with us. Our listeners are very familiar with her. We talk a lot about, what's happening. And one of the things we've talked about is those international flights and the excitement over those. How do we leverage that to make St. Louis an appealing draw and destination for European travelers?
I think that's a great question. And European travelers are really looking for the true Americana, not the gateway to the West. Let's have a gateway into St. Louis where we really show what that true Americana is and the history and, just and again, I've only been here, everyone, for 7 days, so I have a lot to learn. But with just the history on rock and roll and jazz and Tina Turner, oh my gosh, and that's just one small piece of the attractiveness of St. Louis. And I think that the more we talk about those stories and work with our partners to build out additional information and itineraries for the international visitor, I just see that as a real growth opportunity.
Over the last couple of years, a lot has been made of leveraging our locations for film production, for economic gain for this region. I know that's, part of what you've got in your basket. Where does that rank in priorities as far as spurring business here and trying to gain those productions?
I think it's very important. And in terms of priority, right now there's simultaneous priorities that we need to address quickly, but also methodically and thoughtfully. But the film office can really provide us with additional exposure from a marketing and visibility perspective, where with streaming content, it provides that understanding of who and what St. Louis is. In production costs, films, when they come in and have people staying in hotels, they cater, restaurants, go out and shop, that really adds quite a significant economic impact into the region when they are in the middle of filming.
A recent report looked at visitors to some of our major attractions. The St. Louis Business Journal ran through some of the attendance numbers. For a lot of attractions, some of the attendance is lower than before the pandemic. I can't think that St. Louis is alone in this, across the country trying to recover from this. How do we bring that back?
I think it's our messaging and it's the type of visitor that we target as well, and to make sure that we make it easy for people to find the information and have compelling information where they get excited about those attractions and in order to encourage them to go out and experience.
Now, I know we're asking a lot of you. What can we do as a community here in St. Louis to help you do your job?
That's a great question. I think off the top is if you are one-on-one with a visitor coming in, really make sure that you welcome them in a way that they go and they tell 10 to 20 other friends that they want to come and experience St. Louis. That's just one of a multiple of things, but I am fully open and ready to sit down and meet with anyone and everyone, because only through you and other people that live and work throughout St. Louis will I be able to learn as quickly as possible, because I think that's the most important thing for me to do right now is to listen and to learn.
Well, Julie, again, welcome to St. Louis. Thank you so much for coming in studio this morning.
Well, thank you, Megan. I really appreciate the invite.
That is Julie Gilbert. She is the new Explorer St. Louis Chief Marketing Officer, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, Fred Bottomer is going to give us some tips on how to survive daylight saving time. Let's get a check of the roads now. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have a jam. It's not quite as bad, Megan, but still bumper-to-bumper traffic most of the way in from east of Elm Newtown. It's maybe midway between there and 94 up to the Discovery Bridge. Restrictions on the bridge as they begin the rehab project there. Eastbound Highway 70 backed up 94 to the Blanchette Bridge, but it's slow east of there to 270 as an alternate route nearby. So not as bad, but still pretty busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight in through Hanley's heavy. South 170 just delays south of Brentwood. Westbound 44, that road work in the right lane. Jameson out to Shrewsbury. Not a solid jam, but it's pretty heavy going that route. Route 3 is clearing out, just a little busy between Queenie and Monsanto. That's looking better. The bridges downtown are still on the go. Next update at 8:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyhomes.com today to learn more. about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey. At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meyer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Daylight saving time officially starts this coming Sunday morning at 2 a.m. That's when we spring forward and turn our clocks up an hour. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer talked about the time change with Dr. Thomas Seiler, a sleep medicine specialist at SSM Health St. Joseph Hospital in St. Charles.
As we discussed in the fall, the spring is the worst time as far as the clock change. People tolerate the clock change in the fall much better than the spring. And the big problem is that you're moving forward an hour, and that causes more disruption in people's schedules and that sort of thing. Springing forward has been shown to increase the risk of certain disorders, from cognitive to mental health issues, digestive disorders, heart disease, and that sort of thing. During the week after the shift to daylight savings time, there's a 24% increase in the risk of a heart attack. There's about a 6% spike in car accidents, and there's also an increase in workplace injuries that occur. Strokes increase by about 8%. As I mentioned earlier, there's more mental health and cognitive issues with an 11% increase in depressive episodes. Digestion can be affected. There's an increase in the incidence of colitis. There's also can be worsening of vascular headaches like cluster headaches and migraines. And there's also an increase in insomnia because of the disruption in sleep that springing forward causes.
So what's the cause for this?
Well, the problem with doing daylight savings time, it's basically a 1 hour jet lag that happens. So in the brain, there's this clock called the circadian clock that controls all your body rhythms. And that clock is used to running on a constant time schedule. So noon is noon and 1 is 1 and that sort of thing. So what happens when you do daylight savings time, all of a sudden noon is not noon anymore. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And so there's a lot of bodily functions that go on a time clock. And when you shift the clock, you mess up that rhythm that happens, and it takes a while for that rhythm to readjust. Now, it's worse if you, say, fly to Europe and you have a 6 hour change or a 7 hour change, depending on where you're going. But even with a 1 hour change, it can disrupt how that clock works. And so it makes things like cortisol levels in the blood. Cortisol is a hormone that regulates a lot of endocrine functions in the body. It changes how thyroid function works. It changes how hormones that are secreted by the brain that control sleep work. So it basically disrupts those things, and that's what causes all these things that occur and an increased incidence.
So what tips do you have for us to better manage the change?
So I have kind of a list of things that we always suggest. One is to practice good sleep hygiene, which means have regular sleep habits. That's something that you need to do all the time, not just with the change. We suggest not consuming alcohol before bedtime and getting a good regular sleep regimen. Also, spending more time outdoors. Sunlight is one of the things that can help reset the circadian clock. So especially after the change occurs, if you can get out into the sunlight as soon as you get up in the morning or open your curtains and get some good sunlight, that can help reset the circadian clock. And then the other thing is to stay away from caffeine because that can also mess up your sleep.
So, Dr. Seiler, where do you come down on the having one time for the entire year?
So looking at this, back in 2024, there was a survey done in Missouri, and 78% of people surveyed favored not switching back and forth. 47% wanted permanent daylight savings time, and 31% wanted permanent standard time. As far as medically and biologically, standard time is best because it more correlates to where the sun is in the sky and when the sun comes up in the morning and when the sun sets, as far as changes in light, which is one of the big things that drives and controls the circadian clock. So from a biologic standpoint, the best way to do it would be just do standard time all the time and not do the shift back and forth to daylight savings time. Permanent daylight savings time would be better than doing the shift, but standard time would probably be the best of the two if you had to choose one of them. And that's what most medical experts feel, and that's the attitude of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the National Sleep Foundation.
That is Dr. Thomas Seiler, a sleep medicine specialist at SSM Health St. Joseph Hospital in St. Charles, talking with our KMOX health editor, Fred Bottomer. It is now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other. Yeah. There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:30, time to head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, are things starting to wind down at all?
Yeah, they are for most folks, Megan. It's really just where we have the road work going on. And obviously, the biggest indicator of that's the Discovery Bridge, the rehab project that's starting this week. They have restrictions on the Discovery Bridge eastbound, and eastbound 370 is jammed about midway between Elm Newtown and 94 up to the bridge. Eastbound 70 is still pretty tough. It's almost a toss-up which one's worse, but eastbound 70 is jammed. 94 to the Blanchette Bridge, we have I can't tell if it's a stall or a minor crash there, and then it's still slow into our city after that. Eastbound 64, a little heavy from Prospect toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard. You still have a little bit of a road work backup. Westbound 44, just west of River to Pear, right lanes closed, traffic's jammed back close to Jamison. Westbound 64, a little slow at the city limits other than that. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it looks like we're going to have a warmer day today. A lot of sun, a high around 81 degrees. That's close to a record of 85 set in 1956. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and balmy tonight, an overnight low of 63. But we could have some storms that move in tonight as well. Those could include some downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts. They'll hang around until the morning. And then tomorrow it's going to be cooler. Temperatures are going to fall into the 50s. Sunday, sunny and pleasant with a high of 70. Right now we have sunny skies, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklas. Smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation, plus live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX.
The 46th Builders St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Bring the whole family to watch the adrenaline-pumping off-axis stunt show and the canines in the clouds frisbee dogs.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Coming up, we've got Hancock and Kelley on this morning on Total Information AM. We were hoping to connect to get you an update on gas prices, but as we all know, they have recently spiked. If we look at the statewide gas price average in Missouri, it's sitting at $2.93 right now for a gallon of regular unleaded. That's according to the AAA Missouri Weekend Gas Watch. Guess what? That price? 29 cents more compared to this time just a week ago. Some of the fuel saving tips that AAA is giving us to try to help you out. It says avoid aggressive driving. St. Louis, listen up. Avoid aggressive driving. Rapid acceleration and hard braking can actually reduce the fuel economy of your car. Slow down and follow the speed limit. Fuel efficiency typically drops quickly at speeds above 50 miles an hour. And then it says keep your tires properly inflated. Underinflated tires create more resistance and reduce fuel efficiency. So I don't know how much it'll help, but maybe it'll ease the pain just a little bit of what you're feeling at the pump. It's now 8:34.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes has become synonymous with quality, luxury, and customization, offering thoughtfully designed homes in the area's most desirable communities. And for the month of March, we're giving you even more room to live. For a limited time, receive a free finished recreation room in the lower level, perfect for entertaining, movie nights, a home gym, or whatever fits your lifestyle. This special incentive is available in select communities and only during the month of March. Visit LombardoHomes.com to explore and be sure to ask your sales manager for details.
8:35, time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Layoffs are on the way at a tech giant. Oracle is planning to axe thousands of jobs. The company's trying to handle a cash crunch from its massive spending on artificial intelligence. Long known for its database software, Oracle is now embarking on a historic build-out of data centers to power AI workloads for customers such as ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Sources tell us the job cuts may happen as soon as this month. No comment so far from Oracle. Wall Street is waiting on the jobs report. Economists expect the data to show 55,000 positions were created in February. The unemployment rate forecast to hold at 4.3%. Ahead of that, stock futures are dropping, building on yesterday's losses. And Costco has continued to gain market share. The retailer has been expanding its e-commerce and delivery services while adding shopping hours for its executive members. Costco reported quarterly profit that topped Wall Street expectations. Gold and jewelry were among the top sellers during the period. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 27th. And KMOX's Kegs and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate this hometown holiday with Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This is 104.1 FM, KMOX. Here's what's happening. In a defeat for the Trump administration, a federal judge in New York has ruled companies paid tariffs struck down last month by Supreme Court are due refunds. The U.S. Postal Service on track to run out of cash within a year unless Congress lets it borrow more. And the St. Louis County prosecutor giving businesses until June 1st to get illegal gambling machines off their properties. Another check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, the biggest problem we have is still eastbound 370. This traffic report's a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, eastbound 370 Discovery Bridge. They have road work going on. Traffic's jammed. Not quite midway back to Elm Newtown, but it's closer to 94, but bumper to bumper through there across the bridge. They cleared that. It looked to me like it was a crash. They cleared it to the shoulder, eastbound 70 east of the Blanchette Bridge. It was in the left lane. Traffic still backed up 94 to 5th Street because of it. Westbound 44 west of Jameson, out across River to Pear. The right lane's closed for roadwork, so you're backed up there. Northbound 55 Bayless Weber, just a little heavy in that construction zone. 100 years, that's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. For same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Happy Friday, St. Louis. It's a Chamber of Commerce day out there here in St. Louis. And well, it's just Michael Kelley. But joining me on the phone line is the ever vacationing John Hancock. Mr. Hancock, top of the morning to you, sir.
Hello, big boy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How was your evening last night? I hadn't heard from you yet this morning, so I assumed you probably had a nice one.
We had a lovely evening down here in Jupiter, Florida, checking out the Cardinals.
Yeah, tell me about it. Did you go over and check out the new facilities? There's a lot of construction happening down there, and it seems as though there's a complete overhaul of the ballpark, probably since the last time you were down there.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how much they've done, and I'm mildly optimistic about this team.
Well, you seem to be that way every year when the season starts, and that's the best part about baseball, right? We all get to start with a fresh slate, and we'll see what happens. John, I must confess, listening to the games, I may know one or two of the players' names, but most of the players that we have now are a youthful team that has been put together, and I think we all expect a rebuilding year, but did anybody stand out to you?
Well, Dustin May got to start yesterday against Pittsburgh, and he hit 99, and that's exciting. Now we're going to probably trade him at the deadline, but that was very encouraging. J.J. Weatherholt's hitting the ball very well. He's got over 1,000 OPS, and it's good. They're going to be entertaining and fun to watch.
Okay. Well, I happen to know where you're staying, which is literally less than a block from the stadium. You're down at my house, and you went over to the game the other day. And folks, when I tell you, you can almost fall out of my window in my place into the ballpark. And I get a call from John Hancock, who says, man, went to the game, had a great time. And would you believe that both my son and I got lost for 30 minutes getting home? John, I don't know how is that even possible? We all know you're directionally challenged, but are you blind as well? Because the stadium and the condo are literally 100 yards from each other.
Well, you got to remember the stadium is curved.
Okay.
So when you go out a different exit than the entrance you came in, you get a little, disoriented. So, we came out and turned right, and before I knew it, I was at Florida Atlantic University.
Well, there you go.
But it wasn't 30 minutes. It was maybe 15, maybe 20.
One other quick question before we move on to the substantive topics of the day. How's the vibe down there?
Yeah.
Cardinal fans have kind of shown their displeasure over the last couple of years here in St. Louis. But spring training is kind of a rite of passage for a lot of people. They make it an annual trip, or it's a lifetime trip they get down there. Or is the ballpark full of Cardinal fans? Does there seem to be a vibe of excitement?
Well, I'll have a better sense of that on Saturday. So on Wednesday, we played Team Nicaragua. And I would say there was maybe 2,600 fans there. The stadium holds, 6,000? So, but that may have been because it was Team Nicaragua and not, generally. But I mean, the place is full. People are,
perfect,
milling around. The restaurants are full. So I think the fans are out in pretty good force.
All right, brother. Well, put your thinking cap on, because we've got to talk about the issues of the day. You remember Donald Trump told us, I only pick the best people. Well, one of those best people got canned yesterday. Kristi Noem, the controversial head of DHS, spent over $200 million on an ad campaign that Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, Republican, said was nothing more than a vanity project. This on top of what we witnessed in Minneapolis with 2 Americans being killed by DHS. Are you surprised by the move from this administration to finally terminate Kristi Noem this week from Donald Trump? Now, he's given her a soft landing, but there's no doubt about it. He's throwing her out on her rear.
Yeah, not surprised. Mildly surprised that it took that to remove her from office. But, at the end of the day, Donald Trump is very focused on Donald Trump. So I think the fact that she sort of implicated him into the scandal, probably was the final straw, and she had to go. Mark Wayne Mullen. The irony here is that I have worked for both Kristi Noem and Mark Wayne Mullen. He's an interesting choice here.
Well, and to that point, that announcement got yesterday. Seemed as though he was surprised that he was named as well.
He was.
Obviously, Oklahoma, a Republican state, a Republican governor, they will appoint somebody to replace him. No question that the Republicans will hold on to that seat. But this may not be a slam dunk getting through the United States Senate. Senator Mullins has insulted Rand Paul, called him a snake in the past. Of course, you have the Democrats fired up over wanting to change the direction of the DHS. Obviously, a very important cabinet member. Do you think this will be a long, protracted fight, or will the president get his nominee relatively easy?
Yeah, so history would tell you that when a senator goes through confirmation, I don't think any senator ever, well, no, I can think of one, John Tower from Texas, back when Ronald Reagan nominated him for defense secretary. He didn't get rejected, but he withdrew. But other than that, senators almost always get confirmed for whatever they're nominated for. So I think, and I think Mullen generally is pretty well liked in the body. You mentioned Rand Paul, and that could be an issue, but I think I suspect he's going to get confirmed. But I do think that confirmation process, they're going to talk a lot about the policies of Homeland Security as it relates to ICE and the Border Patrol. So it's going to be interesting, but I think he'll get confirmed.
Yeah, and to your point about senators getting confirmed by other senators, Marco Rubio, kind of the slam dunk appointee of Donald Trump, got sailed right through the Senate's confirmation process. I was kind of surprised he didn't get named to be the head of DHS, too, because Donald Trump seems to put Marco Rubio, maybe the most competent person he has in his administration, in several important jobs.
Yeah, he's already got, three?
Yep.
3 roles? Yeah, he's probably tied up.
Yeah, one would think so. Hey, we'll step aside, take a quick break. Back with Hancock and Kelley on the Mighty Mighty Mocs right here on 104.1.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
And welcome back to the Hancock and Kelley Show. Hancock is in Jupiter, Florida, getting ready to go see our Birds play again. Tomorrow is the next game. Who do they play?
Hold on, I had mute. The Mets, the New York Mets tomorrow.
Oh, the Pond Scum team. Well, that will be exciting, John. Speaking of Pond Scum, we're in the midst of quite a battle over in Iran right now. Of course, we had the attack on Iran. The war continues to roll on. Iran has made the decision to attack, 11 other countries, almost consolidating the allies of the United States who wanted to stay out of this conflict behind us as a result of their lobbing drones and missiles into other countries. Is this a benefit by circumstance that the administration kind of stumbled into, or did you see that one coming?
I did not. Well, I mean, obviously we've got bases in many of those countries, and so the fact that Iran is attacking them is not shocking. But it is a benefit that all of these Middle East countries are, standing by America at this point. So, it's going to be very interesting on the other side of this thing, Michael, to see if there might be kind of a new design in the Middle East with a lot of much more pro-American sentiment. But I think there's a long way to go here. And potentially, I don't know how the U.S. gets out of this thing without putting troops into Iran. And once we do that, if we do that, that's going to be, that's going to be really hard on the country.
Yeah, and anytime there's been a conflict in the Middle East that the United States has led or been a part of, it's dragged on for nearly a decade every time that we've done it. Now, Donald Trump ran telling us, I'm done with the endless wars. We're not going to go fight these fights for other folks, and then has immediately, in several instances around the country, around the globe, changed that policy to the detriment of his own politics, which we're seeing happening in his own polling. I'm with you. I don't see this being a tidy and quick operation, and fear that we may be living with the consequences of what he's chosen to do here for maybe several administrations to come.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope it's not that long. But, we chose to stand alongside Israel and go in and fight this, and it's a war. And yeah, we're gonna. I thought at the outset that maybe it's going to be a few day bombing like we did back in the summer, but and it looks like we're all in for a long time, and the price of oil in this country, I think, is going to be determinative about how long this lasts, because, at some point you've got to have the military has got to have the want to, and that's, we've got that. You've got to have political support for a war. We've got that, but it's not solid. But ultimately, the American people have to support the war. And I think if oil prices shoot up, 10, 15, 20%, I think you lose the American people at that point, and that becomes a real political problem for the president.
Well, and the president had promised, I'm going to lower prices on day one. Today, gas prices are higher than they were under Joe Biden. Grocery prices will continue to remain high. The political consequences for the president may not be immediate for him, but they are going to be immediate for the Republican Party and their control of both houses in the United States House and Senate, which leads me to we're a little over 4 months away from an election here in the state of Missouri, where congressional races are on the ballot. Of course, we potentially have the redrawing of the lines that was going to take place as a result of the directive of Donald Trump. That continues to be held up in court. But you have Emanuel Cleaver and Ann Wagner in particular. Emanuel Cleaver, Democrat on the Kansas City side, who was being targeted, as well as Ann Wagner, our St. Louis County and St. Louis area Republican state rep, our congressional leader, who doesn't really know what lines they're going to run under. How does that look for both of these candidates as we're only 4 months away from an election?
Well, so for Cleaver, if he gets the old lines, he's safe. He's going to win. If he gets the new lines, he's probably going to lose. Well, most likely going to lose. For Wagner, she's probably safe regardless of whether it's the old or the new district. If Ann Wagner gets defeated in November, that's going to portend a massive Democrat wave, like 45, 50 seats. And when you consider the fact that there's only really 27 seats that are considered typically competitive, if the Republicans lose 45 or 50 seats, they're going to lose a lot of seats that are Republican-based, and Wagner's is one of those.
Crystal ball time. I think we both agree that the Democrats will take control of the United States House of Representatives in November of this year. The president's polling rate numbers reaching record lows for any president. That could have consequences for the United States Senate. Texas in particular looks as though it may be in play, as Democrats were fired up this week, showing up to get their nominee together. My word, is there a possibility that there could be a Democratic senator coming from the state of Texas?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it could happen. The Democrats are fortunate that they nominated Tallarico instead of Crockett. I think if Cornyn prevails on the GOP side, he is more likely than not to hold that seat. But that remains to be seen. And the president's going to weigh in on that race at some point, hopefully soon. But yeah, there is a chance that the construction of the races this cycle is good for Republicans, but they could lose the Senate. I think it's less than 50% likely.
Yeah, I think that Democrats will take both. Well, that's John Hancock reporting from Jupiter, Florida. Get back to the good sunshine down there and maybe some sleep. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, if you're sticking around for Hancock and Kelley with the Chris and Amy show, it will just be Kelley. We'll be back right after this on 104.1 AM KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lynch.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, aimed at reducing the second deadliest cancer in the United States after lung cancer. Colorectal cancer is highly preventable and often curable if detected early. Most people should begin screening for colorectal cancer after the age of 45. Younger adults should be aware of symptoms like changes in bowel habits, pain, or bleeding. Consult your healthcare provider about which test would be best for you. I'm Margie Schaefer.
At Lenseek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help.